I am here with my guest. We're gonna get into it. Jaaye Person Lynn. We're gonna talk to Jaaye in a little bit, but before we get to Jaaye, just a little bit of house cleaning. Go to Hotepish.com for your t-shirts. Y'all see them? Get the t-shirts and get my new t-shirt right here that we got. Black people don't owe anybody but anything but an ass whooping. Dr. John Henry Clark. Make sure you get that t-shirt. For bookings, email hotepish@gmail.com and all the good stuff. I want to thank y'all for joining us. Come on in the chat room. I'm bad at sending out notifications that I'm be live. I just be popping up on y'all asses. And y'all jump up in here. I appreciate y'all for coming up in here. With me, I have special guest, lawyer, someone I've been knowing for a long time. What's up, Jay Marcus in the chat room? What's up, Hippie J in the chat room? What's up, Poppin'? We have a lawyer, somebody I've been knowing since middle school, going back to high school, Mr. Jaaye Person Lynn. What's up, my brother?
Oh man, everything good with me. Happy to be here, brother, and discuss this hotep ish with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all can hear us straight out there? Oh, you said there, Dre, you smoking that wedding cake? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Dirty Red, what's up? What's up? Thank y'all for joining the chat room. Yeah, I have I have lawyer Jaaye Person Lynn on today because there was a story going around about it. The story got hot about a month ago, but this has been going on for a little while now. There was an incident, and I'm gonna show y'all the screen share if y'all want to look the article up in the Atlanta Black Star, where they talked about they didn't believe Jaaye was an attorney, and so the police officer kind of did some shady stuff, shady things like they known to do, and then basically blamed Jaaye for it, arrested him. And now he's been convicted, and he's vying to appeal. Well, he is going to appeal his conviction in court. If y'all go back and watch the video, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, when you watch it, it's almost like, oh, here's the video right here. I'm gonna play the video first, and then I'm gonna introduce. Then I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna let you say what you have to say. All right, Jaaye?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go ahead and play the video, and then y'all gonna see how ridiculous this shit is. Here we go. Look at this. This is the punk. This is the cop over here, and as you see, this is Jaaye walking up in the courtroom. He's an attorney, walking towards the bench because he's an attorney. Officer kind of tells him some BS. Still pointing. Jaaye is compliant. Officer kind of smashes up on him. Then officer just pushes him. Pushes him. You see, Jaaye he's talking, but he's not doing anything aggressive. See, we're not gonna watch the whole video, but you see how the officer basically pushed him and start doing that BS. So we have attorney Jaaye Person Lynn in, and tell him about that day, dog. What happened? What's going on?
Oh man. Well, thanks for the opportunity to share on your platform. That day, brother, I was headed out to San Bernardino County. It's about 70 miles from my office. So I did not have court that day, and the district attorney does not give initial discovery at the arraignment. So at the arraignment, I wasn't able to go. Arraignments are the one court dates that, as defense attorneys, we don't have any say in when an arraignment happens.
Yes.
The initial court date, because we didn't ask the police to arrest somebody. So that just comes up as it comes. So I sent an appearance attorney, but the court had set a date before my appearance attorney had got there that was not good with my calendar. I was going to be out of town. Excuse me. So I went out there with the main purpose of retrieving the discovery and meeting with my client, going to the scene, doing some investigation. But I also wanted to speak with the clerk in the courtroom to see if I could change that date without me having to send an appearance attorney or me appearing since I was going to be out of town. So it was just an administrative function, but still a function of practicing law. Um, so after meeting with my client and getting the discovery on my way out, I was I went into the courtroom. Well, first I went to the clerk's office because I called and the courtroom and they told me I needed to go. A male voice told me I needed to go to the clerk's office. I get to the clerk's office. They tell me I need to go to Department S7. So Department S7, I walk in. That's the video that people just saw. In casual clothing, not formal business clothing. I'm in red slacks, a shirt that's white in the chest area and multicolored dashiki print in the front bottom of the shirt and the back of the shirt, and then some camouflage shoes, moccasin style shoes. So that's what I had on. Um, and they when I walked up to the clerk, as that bar there, and you hear the bailiff talk about that bar. um uh, Attorneys can pass that bar, or actually, no, you don't hear them. But where they push me back to, uh, the both of them told me only attorneys can pass that bar, and I am an attorney, so that's why I walked past the bar. They didn't believe me when he first walks up. You see him point like three times. The first time he's just like, "Hey, do we know you?" And I say no, and he says, "Well, you got to go back there." I say no, but I'm here to talk to the clerk about one of my cases. He says, "Well, you got to go back there." Points. Then I say, "Why?" He says, "Because you're not an attorney," and he points again. Then the last time he points, I say, "Well, I am an attorney. I'm here to talk to the clerk about my case." Then he points and says, "Well, you need to go speak to the bailiff." And so I turn, as you see, and I go to the bailiff's desk. The bailiff, before I say anything, she says, "Sir, you see that bar? Only attorneys can pass that bar." And so I tell her I am an attorney, and then I go to reach in my back pocket to pull out my bar card because they're not listening. And before I could show the bar card, Deputy Barry, the white man, male deputy, he grabs me and pushes me into the area beyond the bar, where he believes I'm supposed to be. Uh, and this is without asking for any credentials or
Mm.
checking, and me saying repeatedly I'm an attorney. So I go to step around him and go back and handle my business. He puts his hand on my chest, and I bring my hand up. Now, I know it looks as if I moved his hand, but if you look at his reaction, at the time he had no reaction. So it's not like I slapped his hand. I put my hand on his to express my displeasure, and then he moved his hand down. But either way, at most, I removed his hand from my chest, right? Um, that's what I actually got convicted of, that act. I was after that. I had a back and forth that you can hear in the video with the deputy, explaining to her I'm an attorney, I'm an officer of the court. They asked me to step out into the hallway. They showed me a sign that says only don't approach the clerk, check in with the bailiff. And that sign is for defendants and witnesses and whatnot. But that sign, I have to follow a certain set of rules and laws, and these rules allow me to
So
go
you
into the
going?
part of the
I
courtroom that
want to
I,
go
I
back
can
to
go
something
into.
real quick. I want to go back to something real quick. You got convicted. What did they charge you with, and what were you convicted of?
I, I was charged with PC 148A1, which is resisting, delaying, or obstructing an officer in the lawful performance of his or her duty. And
Wow.
so, what the jury reasoned was that since Deputy Barry was the custody deputy, and not the bailiff in the courtroom. Although the bailiff was there and I was talking to her when he pushed me, that when I removed his hand off my chest, that alerted him so much to me that he could no longer do his duties as the custody deputy, which was in the custody area, which is not pictured in the courtroom. It's the door he was standing in. Now, mind you, at the start of the video, for those that get to see that version, there's about 13, 14 seconds before I even walk in to the courtroom. And in that time, Deputy Barry's already in the courtroom. So it's not like he came out for me specifically. And he testified his duty, number one, is to protect the judge, and two, uh, handle the facilitate getting the in custody inmates to and from court, and remanding people when the judge puts them in jail. And his third is to maintain the security of the courtroom. And he said he did his act upon me under the duty of him to maintain the security of the courtroom. So even though he says I'm doing my duty, they say because you moved his hand, an act that took 3 seconds, you criminally obstructed him or delayed him from doing his other duty, even though he was doing the duty. So, under that theory, if there is a DUI task force out at night, uh, and they pull you over, Dwan, for texting and driving, now you're stopping them from patrolling and looking for DUI drivers.
Wow.
So, therefore, you're guilty of obstructing an officer on his duty. And that's the ridiculousness under which I was convicted.
Wow. So, what are the implications of this conviction? How can they? How is this adversely affecting you? What are the potential damages out of this?
Well, one, under this charge, I face up to a year in the San Bernardino County Jail, which will be served at halftime, a fine of up to, I think it's $1,000 or both. I could be subjected to, probation if I accept it. The bar, based on the conviction, I have to report it to the California State Bar. Now, the bar still has to make their own independent determination that what I did violated moral turpitude, which is basically doing something that's just morally wrong, as opposed to, just making a mistake. Like a DUI is not necessarily something. I mean, some people will argue it's morally wrong, but it's like you misjudged yourself. You drove while you were intoxicated. You're not really taking from anybody. Nobody got hurt, that kind of thing. But stealing, fraudulent activities, lying, those kind of things are morally wrong. And even like, criminal violent acts like assaults and batteries, like violent batteries and whatnot, felonious batteries. Those kind of things can get you to lose your credentials as well. So I'm confident that the bar will at least follow the law. As the what I was convicted of, I should have never been charged with,
Yeah.
and but that's just what it was. But the judge had laid out 9 different acts, even though it's one count of Penal Code Section 148A1. The jury had to agree on which act I did. So then those acts were ridiculous because the deputy testified that he told me multiple times to check in with the bailiff and to go back beyond the bar. And that's why he was pointing his hand 3 times. Even though you clearly see on the video, after the third time he pointed, I went into the direction he pointed at. And even though I explained to him what he said, and even though he couldn't explain the words he used or how he gave me 5 different commands in the 10 seconds that I was there talking to him, the judge still allowed the first act to be that I disobeyed his 3 of his orders to go to the bailiff, even though I went to the bailiff within 10 seconds of talking to him. Then the second one was that I disobeyed multiple commands, so at least 2, to go back beyond the bar. And so that's ridiculous. Now, the third one, what's unique about what the judge did, this charge is specific to a cop. So it's like if you if there's two cops and they're partners and they separate to go find somebody, and they're chasing two different people. One person, runs through a door and somebody locks the door so the cop can't get in. That person, and they know the cop is chasing them. That person obstructed that cop, right? But it's specific to the cop. He can't say, well, because my partner was part of the whole operation, that my partner was instructed also. It has to be specific to that cop. Now, of those 9 acts, even though I'm only charged with obstructing or delaying Deputy Berry, the judge allowed 4 of those 9 acts to be against Deputy Sutton, who was the bailiff, the black woman in the
Wow.
video. And so, the jury, after seeing all of that, is like, wow, he must have done something, right? Because had they convicted me of one of those acts against Deputy Sutton, then technically I could have gotten convicted of delaying Deputy Berry by not listening to Deputy Sutton. Like that's what the judge allowed.
It's a
Um,
political trick bag. And so, everybody, you listening to lawyer Jaaye Person Lynn? I guess you see. I'll put the link to this article in the Atlanta Black Star they wrote in the description box. Matter of fact, I'm about to put it in the chat room for somebody in the chat room. Yeah, I'm about to put that in the chat room right now. Um, so you've gone through all this, and like, I just want to point something out to the people about who Jaaye is. Like I said before, not only did I go to high school with Jaaye, but he's also someone I've known like out of high school, and I know this brother's character. I know who he is. And one thing about Jaaye is he fights for black people a lot, where you get lawyers that actually stand up for our people, and the system out here has all kind of trap doors and trick bags for him. Jaaye, someone when he first got his law degree, I remember this dude would be randomly driving down Crenshaw. I remember that. I'll never get that video. You was somewhere on Crenshaw. It looked like he was on Crenshaw on 43rd, somewhere in that area. And the police was
yeah,
harassing these brothers, and you pulled over and was just gave them legal counsel right there on the spot, just and to make sure these brothers was good. That's the kind of lawyer Jaaye is. Jaaye is not a lawyer that said, "Okay, I'm gonna get this law degree, and then I'm gonna go off into some banking place way up where I can't help my people." Jaaye got his law degree, and he's here on the ground helping his people, getting sentences reduced, getting things done, keeping people from getting football numbers in jail. And this is what happened. That's why I brought Jaaye on, and that's also why I have his Cash App up there, because his defense, lawyers don't defend themselves. He still needs legal counsel. He still needs help throughout this. So I want everyone here to please, please, please don't give me anything today. Whatever you have, please donate it to Jaaye Person Lynn, lawyer. This is a lawyer that fights for us, that does right by us. And he, as y'all see on the video, he got convicted of some bullshit. So
yeah,
he's going through his appeal right now, and he's gonna get this all worked out. Tell us, Jaaye, how does
yeah.
this appeal process work?
Well, the appeal right now, what we're in the process, because a juror reached out and said I made the wrong choice. I shouldn't have voted. He was misjudged and mischaracterized, and it should have been avoided. His charge should have been dismissed. Um, but for whatever reason, on that day, well, there was maybe 10 hours of testimony, if that, and there was 7 hours of deliberation. Right, so that's a long deliberation for the short amount of time. In contrast, the OJ case was like a year long, and they deliberated for 3 hours. So it was something unclear to the jury on why they deliberated after 7 hours, but also after 7 hours, people get worn down, right? And if you this is a jury of uh uh about six. It was like 5 whites, 4 Latinos, and 3 Asians on the jury, and then one Latina, um, alternate juror. And so out of the 24 potential jurors, there were zero blacks, just none
That
at
is
all.
not a jury of your peers. It's basically all white people
Yeah.
because they
And
think
it's
white.
Rancho Cucamonga's like 9% black and 10% Asian, but there were like six Asians in the jury pool and zero blacks. So the where I should have got at least two blacks, they were there with the Asian. One of the Asian guys, one of the Asian jurors told me after the trial that, if somebody pushed me, I would have responded the same way. Like the thing he actually convicted me of, he said he would have done. And so the reason why I point that out, and I'll get back to your question on where we're at in the process. But the reason why I point that out is because um, we that's what I now have to understand. We have to understand like our very existence is a criminal act. So that's how I could be convicted for trying to do my job in a courtroom. Like I'm an attorney in a courtroom that didn't punch nobody, didn't steal nothing in a courtroom, didn't bring nothing illegal into a courtroom, but I got convicted for trying to do my job in a courtroom. The only way that happens is if you see me as a criminal at the second I walked into that courtroom. And that is the plight of black men and why we're in a state where we're only about 3.3% of the state's population and
Mm-hmm.
27% of the state's prison population.
Yep.
And that's why. But back to the process. So we're going to do a motion for a new trial based on two things. One, some juror misconduct. The juror misconduct isn't like as clear, and when we talked to the jury, she wasn't like, "Oh, they told me," but they did. They were saying things that just weren't true by the jury instructions. And the other thing, the judge, by allowing the count I was actually convicted of, and me saying why I put my hand up on this man's hand when he pushed me the second time, the judge had a duty to give a self defense instruction by giving that charge. Now, typically, a self defense instruction would come in like a resisting
Mm-hmm.
arrest charge, but I was not charged with resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Although all three of those, resisting, delaying, or obstructing, are theories that you can be convicted for under Penal Code Section 148,
Uh huh.
I wasn't, the resisting theory was not part of it. And so that's probably why we missed it. Like, why would I have to say I'm self defending? I'm defending myself by
Yeah.
obstructing or delaying him. That is it. You shouldn't have to, but once she allowed that act to be it, then she had a duty to give the self defense instruction, which she did
Okay.
not. So that would be for the motion for a new trial. If that's denied, which it was a lot about the law that wasn't followed. So if that's denied and the law is not followed again, then I would be sentenced to whatever she sentences me to, and then I'd be able to start the actual appeal process because you can't
Okay.
appeal until you're actually convicted. And so that's where we're at right now. And so like the transcript of the trial itself is like $2,300. Writing and getting these motions written and contacting these jurors, having these investigators reach out. That's what the costs go to in dealing with this situation and what the fundraising is for.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, that's what we hear, and that's what we here for at Hotep Ish Intelligent Ish Talk. Y'all know we be cracking jokes and talking shit, but we also bring the profound, but we bring the profane and we bring the profound. So they be talking the profound because you know what I mean. Jaaye know more than anybody else. I could talk some shit. And one thing I want to shout Jaaye for when I first started doing stand up comedy, this brother came to the shows. I remember that brother at the comedy union.
Yeah,
I
I was there.
appreciate that.
I was there, and it's been a journey, man. And you've been on that, and now you like our very own Southern California, like Steve Harvey, man. You just hosting everything.
Yeah, I want y'all to support Jaaye, man. He's that kind of dude. Like y'all like my stand up comedy. Y'all like he was there when Craig Fax, all of us when we all first started. Jaaye was in the crowd because he was that kind of brother. He saw a person like me really trying to get it in. He was in law school at the time. Well, just finished and then
Nah, I
get.
was
No,
I
you were
was I was
done.
post law school, but pre passing the bar.
Yeah, pre passing the bar. and we used to talk all kind of shit to Jaaye about not passing that
Oh
bar.
man, it was all kind of shit,
We
boy.
used
It
to be
was
on his ass like you failed that
man.
motherfucker again, nigga.
Like, bro, the average age is 30. I was 27 when I passed. Forget how many times I took it. But
Yeah, man.
but I tell you that testimony has helped out a lot of people just maintaining their confidence because most people that don't pass the bar, that's like the first test in life that you didn't pass. So it can be quite shocking and mind altering, and you can really get down on yourself. So that's one of the blessings from that testimony, being able to share that with people when they don't pass, and have them understand you can still be successful in this game even though you're not a first round draft pick.
For anybody who may know Jaaye and don't know who I am watching this show, look, listen to his testimony because I can vouch. I'm one of the people we used to get. Jaaye was somebody that he would talk his shit, and then we'd be like, "But nigga, you didn't boom boom boom," and Jaaye would take it and go right back and take that test again. Fail that
Yeah.
motherfucker. Come right back. Listen to us
Hey.
talk all. And this is like before I started doing. People don't know now. I don't crack jokes like I used to because I'm a stand-up comedian now. I don't really have the need to. But before I became a stand-up, I was like you, popping you in the chat room. I was like you, nigga. It didn't stop back then before I got into stand-up comedy. And Jaaye was somebody, but the brother man would keep fighting, and keep fighting, and keep working, and keep working, and he got there. So he's a testament to persistence, and he's a testament to after all that work it took to get there, of staying down home with his people in the Crenshaw district in South LA. He said he's in San Bernardino because half the niggas that used to live in South Central got moved out to San Bernardino. So I'm sure he got a lot of work out there. He's with the people. I be proud to look at his Facebook sometime. Man, I got someone who was facing boom, 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 got their charges reduced to boom, boom, boom. And this brother be pumping stories out like that all the time. So he's somebody that we need to support and the community need to rally around and show love to because it's black professionals out here really doing it. And Jaaye's also a person, if he sees something going on in business, he'll hit me up. Like last year, there was a program with children, and he knows I have my company, Breakthrough Advocacy Services, and he saw it might be a good idea, for me to go ahead and do it. Y'all see the company logo, Breakthrough Advocacy Services. The website's down. But y'all can Google this shit, and I do got Google reviews. I'm legit, motherfucker. Jaaye was somebody who would say, hey, D, I think this would be a good fit for your company. So again, like I said, this is the kind of individual we're dealing with. This isn't someone who's going to go around assaulting police officers. This isn't someone who's going to go around physically doing anything to harm anybody.
Yeah. No, that's not my steez, man. And it's tough because we've been having these discussions throughout all the shit talking over the years, all the jokes. We've always, I know you and I probably more than most, but had a certain level of just black consciousness,
Yes.
right? Like we've known Dr. John Henrik Clark name for years. I actually got to do as a child, ask him a question, but it was recorded, so I can say I interviewed Dr. John Henrik Clark.
That's what's up.
When my dad was interviewing him one day, I was the youngest, but I would want to go, when I hear about Dr. Clark or whoever he might have been interviewing, that I could go Van Sertima, so on and so forth. And so that's in my dad's first book, First Word. And so when you talked about the shirt with that quote, it brought me back to that history and that knowledge and just how powerful it is to have that knowledge. But it's this experience and some others, man. I'm starting to think that maybe there's no way to figure it out in this society. Like
Yeah.
we look at history and we're like, what society did the slaves and the slave masters, the descendants of the slaved and the descendants of the enslaver and the descendants of the enslaved live harmoniously in the country that they were enslaved doing the enslaving in? And when you start asking those kind of questions and you look throughout history and you're like, oh well, There were slaves in Haiti. The masters left. In Brazil, they got the same issues we got here when it comes to racism and all throughout South America. And then you
UK
have a
too.
nation like
Yep.
yeah, then you have a nation like South Africa that claimed it wasn't the level of slavery that we had here in the Americas, but there was some slavery and there was some slavery and there was definitely apartheid. And so when they said, "Oh, we're done with apartheid," right? What did they do? They changed their flag, they changed their constitution, they changed their national anthem. There's different political parties in power than were in power before. They changed their whole system on who's a citizen and who has rights, and they wrote it all down brand new and ratified it in 1994. And that's so here's a new country, right? Then you look at the US and it's like it's the same flag, it's the same national anthem because the national anthem came from the Civil War or the American Revolution in the 1700s. The same political parties in power since slavery. Just all the same Constitution, the same Declaration of Independence, and it took me a while to realize three of the five drafters of the Declaration of Independence, at the time they drafted it, owned slaves. And Benjamin Franklin had previously owned slaves, but had given it up maybe 15, 20 years prior. John Adams was the only one that did not own slaves. But what does that mean when you're a slave owner and write the words, all men are created equal, endowed with certain inalienable rights by our Creator. Amongst those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when you say all men are created equal and they all have this right to liberty, but you hold these people as slaves, you are saying these people are not men. These people are not humans. And that is written into the fabric of this nation. So when people are talking about reforms, that's not going to do anything. If we're not going to reword, even if we say use those same words and put today's date on it, okay, then it could mean us. But as long as those words are connected to the date of July 4th, 1776, it is we are forever enshrined in this nation as inferior beings. And we need to understand that. And anybody that seeks to support us needs to understand that. And when I started a group 3 years ago, for lack of a better term, we called it Black and White for Right, which is black folks and white folks come together and discuss issues of race, specifically related to descendants of enslaved Africans. So I bring this up because I've gained some friendships through this group, um, different white folks, and when discussing it, it's still hard for them to like see me and hear me talk to a cop like that and feel like I had the right to do so, even though
Mm-hmm.
they know me, they've known me for years now, they respect me. It's so ingrained even in these people who are much more conscious than they were before. It's still ingrained in their minds. And when they had to all realize that when they gave me advice on what to do in the situation, everything they were telling me to do related back to me making myself smaller than I am to get through these circumstances. And so it's like, and for them, it wasn't malicious. It's like, I love you, so I want you to get through these things. But for you to get through them, this is what you're gonna have to do. And that's just a reality check.
You're
They're
gonna have
not
to
saying
bow
that
your
because they
head. You're gonna have to kowtow. You're gonna have to do all the things that we had to reduce ourselves to over the last 400 years in order to get by. And one thing about know about Jaaye, man, Jaaye is somebody that walked with his chest out, head up, and it
mm.
offends a lot of people. But he be like, "Fuck them," and so I
And
know that's a
it's
problem.
crazy when I realized the way I walked offended people. Like it was like, damn, this offends you. Like because I think highly of myself, that's offensive to you, even
It,
though I don't think low of
yeah.
you.
I see. Me
Yeah.
personally, one thing about me when it comes to me cracking my jokes, yeah, I've always been a kind of person. I don't like hurting nobody's feelings. I knew I
Yeah.
could go hard as hell on Jaaye because I couldn't hurt this nigga's feelings for shit. So he was somebody I would love to talk about because I could say what the fuck I wanted to say, and it wasn't gonna change his stilo, not one there little bit. And we'd have fun, and then we'd be on. But you're right, yo. The way you carry yourself, and the way when a black man puts his chest out and knows who he is, it tends to rub people the wrong way. And one thing I respect about you, Jaaye, is you don't give a fuck, and that's something that's something I picked up from you over all the years of knowing you. Of regardless of that, regardless of how it may affect other people, you gotta still be the fuck who you are, and that's what it is. And like I said, we see Jaaye going through what he's going through, but we as a community, I want y'all to like this video. I want y'all to share this video. I want y'all to show up as a community, because when we have our people out here fighting for us, we gotta be the ones back there supporting them and having a back. Like I said, Jaaye, he did not sell out and become some corporate attorney defending a bank that don't need any extra money. He defending the people. And so yeah, man. Like I said, yeah. Thank you in the chat room, Jareen, McCaskill, Hunter Blue, Miss African Roots, Hippie J, Tasha Ray, Prince Jaron, Davy Lee, Poppin'. Thank y'all all for joining the chat room here live with Jaaye Person Lynn. Tell him.
Man, I couldn't see the chat, man. My brother in there, man.
No, I don't think that's your brother, Jareen. I don't think that's him.
Oh,
that was Jareen. No, that's not your brother, Jareen. That's not him.
They were checking in, but yeah, but even even him, he like that's how it's authentic, right? He does his in the financial space, but it's the same thing. Like, stop, where I'm trying to keep you from these physical chains, he tried to keep you from these financial chains. It is both a whole life about liberation, and that's just how we were raised. And
I want to salute to your mom, because I don't know if you know, I don't know if you probably do know, but moms, she's the one that really got me to take doing radio broadcasting serious. I remember you hooked me up with her number, and then when I first started the Sports and Things show, with He Who Shall Be Nameless, when I did it on Blog Talk Radio, that was your mom's that pointed me in that direction, and she was the first person to subscribe to my shit.
Yeah, man, and that's love, because even when she was on radio, like she had the Sunday Morning Live, right? She was like the Dominique DePrima that time, and that was the kind of show that she would have. So
KJLH for people in LA, for those who don't know KJLH, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff she was doing. She back on a black-owned radio station, KACE, back when Willie Davis owned it. And then my dad was on KPFK doing a weekly show called Spirit Flight, exposing African music throughout the diaspora, and then had the annual show African Mental Liberation Weekend, which was like 30 hours over the weekend of just interviews, music, discussions.
Yeah, she was on KACE, man. For those, I did a music show to cover. For those who y'all know, I know my music history like a motherfucker. KACE was that was a radio station in LA back in the 90s that played all the old school hits, the 60s and the 70s. And that's around the time, and I was in high school, middle school, and I was teaching myself how to play the drums. And I would just record KACE, all that old school music, and then just replay it until I learned how to play every song. And that's when I first heard your mom, because that was, to me, that was the dopest station. To me, that was still the dopest station ever.
Yeah,
103.9 KACE here in LA.
That was a great time too, man. And we didn't. That was a good job for my mom, but now you can make money and be a revolutionary, right? Because
but back then,
back then it was like it was rough. It was 7 of us, and we fighting the cause and trying to feed the kids. But because she was legit media, whenever Magic Mountain opened a new ride, everybody there for free. So we got to. And so even before I knew the term, I learned the importance of social capital from my parents. They didn't always have the financial capital, but they definitely had the social capital through their education, through their network, and through their experiences being in media. And so I've gotten exposed to a lot of things. I remember even before the Beat had Summer Jam, it was when they switched it to V103.9
Yeah.
and kind of op- modernized their playlist a little bit. They had the Peace Jam, and that was like before Summer Jam. It was like, Death Row was just new, and I remember seeing Easy E there with like four of the biggest dudes on earth, and then I saw Tupac there. Ice T came on stage with like every color gang. It was orange and purple and blue and red. It was live. Like they really had it going, and I had the
That was
little backstage pass. I remember a woman paid me $20 to slip it off my hand and slip it on hers so she could go back there mingle for a bit
and that's big
and
when you were a
pay.
kid.
Man, $20 in like 92, 93. You was Whoppers was $1, bro. Whoppers was $1 in that
Yep.
time frame,
For, for,
so
for,
we could get 20 Whoppers.
for those of y'all listening, you listening to two LA cats, man. We Crenshaw District, born and raised. We was that whole Nipsey area, all that stuff. LA, Kamasi Washington on the Jazz End, Thunder,
Oh man,
Terrace Martin. I mean, that part of LA, you got brother comedian James Davis. Love that motherfucker. Salute to you. That
oh
area,
man,
LA, in the 90s, 80s, just bred a certain caliber to where now, whether you're talking about hip hop, whether you're talking about jazz, whether you're talking about law like you, in a lot of different areas, that black side of LA, where is bred a lot of talent, a lot of great
whole
motherfuckers,
lot
and
of
you one of
talent.
them, Jay.
I appreciate that, man, and it's a beautiful thing that we got going out here because I do recognize that, right? Like, I think it's dope that in our generation of hip hop, it was the L.A. cats and Dime and Nip that was the main, like, we staying independent. The people that caught a name and just stayed independent throughout. I think it's dope that they were doing stuff like that, and like you said, like LA brought back, like Lock High School damn near single handedly revised and revamped jazz on the
Yeah,
scene in LA. And
twice.
just like we to be a part of that, to see it, to realize, it sometimes gets sad when you think of all the talent. Like one time, LA Times has a homicide report, and you can go, like, they used to have it go back to like the 70s and the
Yeah,
60s. And then one day they just cut it and it stopped at the 2000s. I don't know why, but even if you go back to 2000, so over the last 20 years, and you see, you put in like homicides of black males, and you see like a few thousand that's died over the years, it's like, damn, that's a lot of talent that got wasted. And then you realize that thousands and thousands in prison, and it's like, man, and when you understand economics, and that economics is land, labor, capital, and technology, and the labor is the people. So when it first hit me, like, how important my work was, a buddy of mine caught a case. They were trying to offer him 8 years and down to 5, and went to the day of trial. They gave him time served and probation. And like, while he was on probation, he had a kid, and that just opened my eyes. Like, wow, that's what's not happening when cats get locked up for years. When they get killed, they not having babies. So every one brother get killed or locked up, that's like two or three more black lives that are not going to ever exist. And you see that LA used to be 17% black. That's how OJ had all them black jurors. Now we down to 9% black, and it's all spread out throughout. And it's even Compton ain't a jury pool like it used to be, and Inglewood certainly ain't. And so, it's good to be a part of that. It's humbling to know the whole story, and realize we came up through those ashes. And it's everybody that grew up here. If you lived in the black community, you lived in a gang neighborhood. Like, besides like the Upper Laderas and the Windsor Hills and the
yeah.
Baldwin Hills at the top of the hills, those were the only black communities that weren't gang neighborhoods. And unfortunately, a lot of young men that grew up in that setting are dead or in prison because in the '90s, it was cool. Like there wasn't no Kanye yet. Like there was no figure in '90s hip hop that was dope and wasn't gang related. Like Quick was the closest, but he
Yeah.
was from Treetop, so
And
it was like,
it's before I let you go, I want you to mention that one other element that really pushed up the gang incarceration rate in LA in those injunction laws. Talk to us about how those
oh
injunction
man,
laws
man,
decimated Southern California.
man, it's just the it gave a cop a reason to just hunt down like, oh, it's three or four of them. Like back in slave days, it's three or four of them. Let's go stop them, see if they violating gang injunctions. And so this is like crazy stuff because you like a gang is like a social organization. Like there's no sign up sheets, there's no accountants, there's no CEOs.
They ain't got an
So it's
outreach and
like,
engagement department. No
yeah.
slips.
So you're telling me that I can't kick it with this guy who might even be my family member because of our gang affiliation, that the only way you know of is because I told you, but I can choose, and you telling me I can't choose when I stop being from a gang. Like you could stop, you could retire as a cop, but I can't retire. So I just got to be stuck in this. And so is the purpose of it is what it's always been. It's like do not allow community to grow. Now, granted, I'm not with or supportive of the destructive acts that many black people took through gang violence, but it's like it was still, let's have some community, let's have some accountability. You just break it up, you elevate, the government elevates the snitch, so now they're out there and the snitches have bad character across the board, so they're not going to care about dealing with younger girls, getting kids on drugs, having people that should not at all be involved in criminal activity, hyping them up to get involved in criminal activity. Is just ridiculous, and so that's how it decimated. Not just with allowing the police to just hunt us down for any small reason, as small as being three or four of us in a group. It also was part of a bigger process that just really elevated that snitch. And then when you look at these numbers, bro, like when my grandmother in '94, she was born here, and when she grew up, everybody had a gun in the house, and everybody kept their doors unlocked. And so, the Panthers came out early '67. By late '67, the Mulford Act was enacted in California, making California no longer open carry state. And when you actually look at the murder rates, it was like 4 point something in '66, and like 4.7 or 5.1 or something in '67. Then it just steadily went up to its
And
height in 1980 of
hey,
14 something.
let's go back to 1968. I always point out 1968. People don't understand. In 1968, in South Central Los Angeles, there was one murder, one homicide, one in all of South Central. This was just after the riots. The LAPD. I remember I heard this from my cousin Sam, who was an LAPD officer at the time, just after the Watts riots. What they did was the white officers and the people who were in South Central LA, who were terrorizing the black people. Those riots put them motherfuckers in check. So they sent all them
Oh
officers out
yeah,
to the valley, and all the rookie
yeah.
officers, all the valley officers, they sent them down to the hood. So what it was you had the new black officers there and a whole bunch of white officers who were scared of everybody, so they weren't agitating shit. And so since they
Yeah.
weren't agitating shit, it wasn't hardly no goddamn crime in the city, to the point to where there was only one homicide by gun in the year of 1968 in the parameters of South Central Los Angeles. 1971, the war on drugs started. The Mumford Act, like Jaaye said, happened. And then boom, shit goes the other way to where it crescendos in 1988 to where it was thousands of murders in LA that year in 1988. So, yeah, so that shows you a little bit about what gun protection laws, the little they do to help us out. Jay,
Man.
tell the people your final words. Whatever you have to say, and how can they contact you?
Definitely. Well, thanks again for having me. You can contact me. I'm Lincoln Lawyer LA on IG. Jaaye Person Lynn, JAAYE Person Lynn on Facebook. Jaaye at personlynnlaw.com to reach me professionally. My parting words are just this. I think it's most important that we determine for ourselves who we are and what we are. Uh, because of the written word of the United States, we are less than by this country standards. But also because of the written word of the United States, because we're born here and we're at least recognized as somewhat human, we're citizens. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
we should give up any of the rights we have due to us being born here, but I do think we should recognize and um, determine for ourselves that we are a separate nation and not be married to just only staying here as our only option. Because unless the Declaration and Constitution and political parties and flag and anthem changes, we cannot expect anything to change for us. So we have to be open to leave, and that's what I learned through this whole process. Like when I got criminalized for doing my job as a licensed attorney inside of a courtroom, there's nothing greater that anybody that I need to see to understand my true status. And I don't let that get you down because you're a full-fledged human being. It's just
Yes.
these people don't respect you as such. And you just have to know that and act accordingly because we are behind enemy lines.
Cool, cool, man. That's some good knowledge, some good game. Jaaye Person Lynn, y'all see his Cash App. Please, please, please donate to his Cash App. He has it. He gonna get that Satan trial. God damn it! And
Yeah,
they gonna because that was some bullshit. I have the
yeah.
link to the Atlanta Black Star article where you can see the video and a write up to what Jaaye is going through. I've already put it in the description box, so I want you guys to look up that link. Yeah, Jai, man, thank you for joining us, my brother, and we will have you back
Hey,
on. We will want some updates as you go through
certainly,
this.
certainly. Thank you, and thanks everybody for the support. That's the one beautiful thing about this is seeing the support. It really does feel good.
We support you, my brother. Thank you again.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
That was Jai Person Lynn. That was Jai. Yeah, Jai is a cool dude, man. He's somebody like I said we went to high school with. I went to high school with him. Went to middle school with him. Matter of fact, I forgot to say this part while he was on air. Jai, when I'll tell you all the time I had two knee surgeries. Well, my first knee surgery was because of that motherfucker right there. Jai, a little 5'2" Mega Man X built motherfucker. And I was playing defensive tackle. We were in practice senior year at Westchester High. I played offensive line. But it was the day, you know how it is, the day you register all your classes at school or whatever. So Jai, I had to play defensive line because like all the dudes that played defense were getting their registration on. And that shit pissed me off. But I was good. So I was getting through. So they sent a double team on the offensive line, and Jai was the fullback. So the guard and the tackle both got me like this. They stood me up. And Jai was a fullback. He ran behind the guard and the tackle. My cleat was stuck in the ground. And them motherfuckers, three of them motherfuckers kept pushing. And my knee was still stuck in the ground. I went all the way back. And I heard it go. Fucked my knee up. With my whole senior year in high school with a limp. And it's funny too, cause my wife now, we were friends back then. She knew Jai too. But she used to my wife went to high school with me, and every time she saw me limping, she be coming around doing that little fake ass limp, clowning, talking shit. Yeah. Who's that? Chuetti said, "You oh, hold on. You said Westchester. I should have gone to Pally. Hell no. Why would I go to Palisades High School? I'm not autistic. No, 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 no. I don't want to go to Palisades. No, 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 no. For those who don't know, Westchester and Palisades were rival schools. Thank you, Tasha Ray in the chat room. That was a cool interview. G Money, thank you. I appreciate that. You're Jaaye good people. Nah, Westchester High School. Nah, that's no. I didn't want to go to Palisades. My sister went there, and my brother, but they graduated before I did. Before I got into high school. No, 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 no Palisades. No Palisades. Dr. Randy Short is I'm gonna see if he's still coming on. But I told him to call in after that interview. I'm not sure if he's even still awake. Let me hit him up and see if he still can come on. Dr. Short doing something. We'll see. We'll see if he can come on. Hippie J, how can other races help out the cause? Hippie J, here's how other races can help out the cause. Other races can police their race when they're doing things to undermine black society. Meaning, we all know the secret's out when you're dealing with people of other races. When black people aren't around, black people at some point tend to come up in conversation. And people tend to talk about the things that they did to disrespect or disenfranchise a black person throughout their week, that week at work or something like that. You be the person to stand up against that. You be the person to say it's wrong. You be the person that comes back to your black friends and tell your black friends what your people say about black people when black people aren't around. That's where we can start. Another place we can start, if you want to truly, truly, truly help black people, if you're in position of power, whatever position of power that you're in, whether it be you're the manager at the hiring manager somewhere, you make sure and do your part and hire an equitable amount of black employees. I understand you can't hire everyone black, but make the amount of black employees that you hire equitable to the amount that apply. Those are things that you can do to help black people if you're not black. Other things you can do to help black people if you're not black is to be someone who, like I said, polices white people. One thing about white people and people of other nationalities, they tend to know how to mobilize politically when there's agenda, when there is an agenda that's against their community and their community's values. So when you see the legal system doing things that are against, that can potentially harm black society, mobilize in the same way to protect black society as white society will mobilize when they're trying to protect a cat or some sort of animal from being disrespected. Those are some of the things that we can do to help when it comes to the race society. The one thing that non-black people should not and should never do if they want to help when it comes to race is tell other black people how black people should feel. The one thing, one major thing you should never do. Again, I will say this, put this in bold lettering. I will put this in highlights. Don't ever, never police black people and tell black people how they should act or react to racism and racial oppression. That's the one thing you should never, ever do. However a black person reacts to racism is however they react, and if you're non-black, you don't have an opinion over that because these people have their reaction for a reason. Okay, Dr. Shorty's going to call in a little bit. I sent the link to your email. I'm on. So, give me 1 second. All right, cool. Yeah, so yeah, Dr. Shore's he's gonna hit us back. He's on the line with somebody. When he gets off that phone line with whoever he's on the phone with, he's going to click on the link that I sent him, and he's gonna get up on here. We're gonna talk a little bit about this shit. Let's see here. What are y'all saying in the chat room? There's a long history of Marxist blacks and the Communist Party from the 1920s. No, those are all labels. It's only one. It's only one governing body, and that's white supremacy. Marxist, capitalist, communist. Those are all interchangeable labels that white folks who are mad at each other throw at each other to draw their distinctions and their lines between one another. Black people just trying to get free. They label Martin Luther King a communist. That's what they did back, especially in the McCarthy era. Anybody who didn't do and wasn't in a complete lockstep alignment with the United States debauchery was labeled a communist or some other ist. Just like in the 2000s, anybody who didn't go along with George Bush's sorry ass plans was considered a terrorist. There's always some shit going on. A black rapper shot dead on a freeway by a black gunman. First of all, how do you know the gunman was black? Second of all, why would there be riots? In a system of white supremacy where you have people deprived of resources, when you're talking about shooting and killing, that's a guaranteed result. Joe Rodriguez. It looks like Joe Rodriguez is here to troll everybody. So everybody say hi to Joe Rodriguez in the chat room. It looks like he's here to troll. He sees black people talking some black power shit. So he wants to defend white supremacy by coming and trolling black people instead of going back to whatever country labeled him Rodriguez and fixing that shit. Don't y'all hate that? You're not even white. Why are you in here talking shit to us? Go back and talk to your people about how Catholicism got they Latin asses in they Latin ass mind all fucked up. Talk about go holler at your people, goddammit. Stop praying to Mary. That bitch didn't exist. The Holy Spirit did not fuck Mary, doggy style, so she can birth Jesus. You Catholic motherfucker. Go fix your people with that nonsense. Don't you hate that shit? You get people with your last name is Rodriguez, motherfucker. You colonized just like black people are. The difference is we in here trying to fix our colonization, and your dumbass is buying along with the white motherfuckers who colonized you. That's what I don't get. You get black people around. We have shows like this, Hotepish, Intelligent Ish Talk. To where we had this intelligent shit talk, because all of these conversations that we do are about fixing our conditions. I bring on black lawyers, I bring on black politicians, judges, psychologists, and people that can help our condition. And you got some people in a fucked up condition at home, that's why they had to come here, invading our space. Salutes to all my non-foundational black Americans in the room. Salute to my black people that's from Africa, from the Caribbean, that's in here. Y'all dope as fuck. I always want to make sure that we always remember how dope y'all are. We always want to acknowledge how dope and how cool our non-foundational black American family is. Our non-ADOS, if that's what you want to call it. DOS if that's what you want to call it, FBA if that's whatever you want to call it, Native Black American, like Claude Anderson says. For those of us who are black and who aren't from here, salute to y'all. And for those who aren't black at all, who just love to get down, it's people in here who aren't of any of those races, but they like to come in here and hear black people with sense talk. So I want to shout out to y'all. Yeah. He said, Prince Jeremy said, has a Mexican rapper ever made a song called Fuck Ice? Like NWA did Fuck the Police? Oh, man. See, that's the thing. Like, we as black people, every time we try to get together and talk, it's somebody who came over here who want to talk shit. Let me see here. I think let me see here. What's up, Azal Ray in the chat room? I need some more moderators. Who wants to be a moderator up in here? Raise your hand if you want to be a moderator. I'll be going on all kind of random times. I'll go on in daytime, at nighttime. I need some people who gonna be up in here for that. Speaking of that, Poppy, you ain't a moderator? Let me add that motherfucker as a moderator. Should have been at it. He was a moderator. All right, cool. Oh man, there we go. We good. Now it could be a few different moderators. It don't have to be just one. Okay, is that Dr. Short? Okay. Dr. Short's getting ready to come on. He just sent me back a damn message instead of. Let me make sure. Okay, we good. But yeah, before I get too deep into it, what's up, Chubby? In the chat room. Donna, yes, definitely. Donna is, if that's the same Donna, is that the photographer Donna Dimely? Are you the photographer, Donna? I know Tasha, yes. I think Donna is a photographer. Donna's a dope ass photographer. I used to be out there doing the comedy shit. Oh yeah, that is a photographer. Hell yeah, what's up, Donna? Man, early, like when I especially when I was early on in comedy, man, Donna Donnelly, she's a dope ass photographer. Some of the best pictures that I have on stage is from her. She used to be at the Mavericks Flat, the J Spot. Donna takes some dope ass pictures. I'm just glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, Donna. It's good to see you in the chat room. I'm glad you found me here on the show. Yeah, I'm doing good. Donna's a dope ass photographer. It's good to see you in the chat room. Okay, yeah, we got, let me see. Dr. Randy Short over here sending me goddamn news articles instead of getting on, but he might get on. But before he gets on, I want to talk a little bit about, y'all see Van Jones? Did y'all see Van Jones crying like a bitch? Oh my God. Van Jones don't speak for black people, man. Van Jones don't speak for black people. Let me say that shit one more time. Van Jones don't speak for black people. I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired of black men getting on camera and crying in front of white people. I'm tired of black women doing it too. Because remember a couple weeks, last year, I remember you had Angela Rye doing it. I remember when I did Ida Rodriguez's show, we was talking about that. Oh, as a matter of fact, I text Ida today. I'm going to have Ida Rodriguez on either next week or the week after that. She down in Florida filming some shit. Ida getting her boss shit on. So when she finished dealing with the corporate HBO people, she gonna come down and fuck with Hotepish. And y'all want y'all to have y'all questions ready for Ida, because me and Ida be going in, because Ida, we go back and forth over the whole black brown coalition thing. And the reason why Ida get frustrated with me is because Ida Rodriguez is one of those Latin chicks, black chicks, who knows she's black, and her grandmother was here in Harlem fighting with black people. So Ida Rodriguez is one of the black people, one of the Latinas who know what time it is, and she's not just about talking about us coming together. She's always been about us coming together. So when she hear me talking all that shit about, FBA, we need to mind our own business and let everybody else hold their own nuts, that should be pissing her off. But I get why it pisses her off, because she don't think like the rest of them motherfuckers. But she gonna be on here, and we gonna talk about that some more. But I brought her up because when I was on her show, we were talking about these people who be crying. Like, why are you crying? Why? Like, why? Hey, Jose. Hey, Joe Rodriguez, man. This motherfucker coming up in here asking all the questions. Ain't nobody up in this motherfucker to talk to you, nigga. Time out. Shit. I ain't want somebody come in the chat room trying to just divert and talk. Open up your own goddamn YouTube page if you want to have people talk to you. Shit. That's the thing. I'm gonna get back to remind me when Dr. Rennie Short get back going to talk about Van Jones. But that's one thing I want to get talk about. Why is it when black people, whenever there's a group of us together, it's always one nigga that want to go up and just start performing and dancing and talking and over talking and loud talking to everybody? What the fuck is up with that? What's up with that? Thank you, Poppin. Why do people... I don't get it. That's why I don't take calls. Like, I was thinking about, I'm still thinking about it. I kind of want to take calls, but I used to take calls when my show was at the radio station, and I would have the same random white dude. If I took calls at least once a month, he was going to call in and just start randomly cussing out of nowhere. And even worse than that, so I get the white dudes because they just hate when we spread this information. What I don't like the most is, like, when I'm listening to, like, Jason Black's broadcast or something like that. The callers, what the fuck be up with the callers? The brother man, the Black channel, he makes it very clear. Give me your name and where you're calling from, and then whatever you have to say, make the point and be out. But it seemed like 7 out of 10 callers don't know to say their name and where they calling from. And then when they get to talking, niggas just get to rambling. It's like, and I hear the same thing when I listen to Carl Nelson's radio show. It's like, it's always going to be some niggas call in, and they got the mic, and they just start running their mouth, telling everybody everything that they don't know. What's up with that? People is weird as fuck, though. I swear to God, these is people whose mama's titty was sitting right there, and she said, "Nah, you ain't getting this good milk. You can get that Similac and that formula right there, because you got an ugly ass face, and I don't want you touching my titty. You gonna deform it." That's the kind of kids these was. These kind of kids These are the kind of kids that used to when they was by the time they was 7, they done walked in on their mama getting their back blown out by 7 or 8 different men. One nigga was light skinned, one nigga was fat, one nigga was skinny, one nigga had one leg longer than the other. They saw their mom get ran through by all these niggas. Then they want to come online and get some attention. Oh, can't stand these people, man. You're right, Tasha. They're just looking for a reaction. I can get a little bit ignorant. I'm probably going a little bit too far. They probably just looking for a reaction. But I swear to God, these are the people. These are the worst people on earth. These are the people who they couldn't even get a set. They couldn't even get cheers in church when they went up there. Remember when you was a kid and you had to read the Bible verse and like no matter how bad you read, the old ladies in church would still cheer you on to say, "Well, that baby tried. That baby tried." These motherfuckers were so dumb. Even the grandmamas in church was like, "Don't ever put that motherfucker on stage again, Pastor. He fucked up the whole 23rd Psalms. Never let it happen again." These people couldn't get no attention in their life. Then the minute you got some shit going on YouTube, they want to jump in. "Well, I think it was this way, and tell me about the Communist Party, and what about the Bull and Wig Party, and how that correlated to Johnson C. Smith and his foundation of a university, and my great-grandfather went to Tuskegee, and I got a job at the plant." God, salute to people who can actually have. Look, I do want to take calls. Matter of fact, I was looking at my Skype plan for this show and saying, okay, yeah, I could take calls. You're right, popping people with no social connections and no desire for self-improvement. That's exactly what it is. People with no social connection and no desire for self-improvement. That shit be throwing me off, man, because it's like, look, black people and people in general. Let's talk turkey here. Yeah, my fat ass said talk turkey. Let's talk relationships. Let's talk life. Let's talk. When I say relationships, I mean relationships come in all forms. Is boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, friends, child, parent, associates, even online. There's a way to act and interact if you're going to keep strong relationships and bonds with people. One thing that's key to keeping strong bonds with people is the ability to read the room. You have to be able to read the room. You have, if you want to talk about something else, then flip to a channel talking about something else. You dig? Let's talk about how to read the room. The thing a lot of people that have these social disorders don't know how to read the room. What do I mean by reading the room? Reading people's body language. What are people talking about? What's the level of their conversation? Do they seem tense? Do they seem relaxed? Before you come jumping in, running your mouth, you want to look around and see what the fuck is going on in the room first, right? Somebody said rooms read me. Rooms be like, that's a dirty, dusty motherfucker. Ignore. Back to what we was talking about. That's what rooms tell you, Hugh Mingus. Thank you, young Jew. But that's the thing that like I see that like when you're gonna be if you're gonna be someone that people trust, if you're gonna be someone that people gravitates towards in the room, you gotta understand the room. Like as a comedian, we had to understand that shit before we got on stage. You know what I mean? You get people who come around and they want to be the expert in a room full of experts. One thing about me, when I read a room and I see it's a bunch of people in there who are really good at what they do, I usually talk the least. I do all my talking online in front of you niggas. When I'm not online, I don't talk that much. Especially if I'm in a room with a bunch of people I don't know. Oh, what's up, Dr. Short? Dr. Short's here. When I'm in a room with people who are smarter than me, I let them motherfuckers talk. I let them be. Because, you know what I mean? That's how you learn. That's how you get to the point in life to where you can get to the point to where you can talk about things with a certain level of mastery. You get to that point that when you're in the rooms where you're not the master, you shut the fuck up and let the masters talk. Speaking of letting the masters talk, the man just joined us. One of my favorite guests, your favorite guest, one of my favorite people on earth, and somebody who, like I always say, don't just talk about it, he be about it. Anything Dr. Short says that he does, I can vouch for saying that he does, because he is somebody who, if he has to connect, he's going to connect you with it. If he has any kind of plug, he'll plug you with it. He's not somebody that just runs his mouth. He's somebody that really, really comes around and he helps out his people. I want to welcome everybody in the room. I still got the last banner up for Jaaye, but welcome, Dr. Randy Short. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just trying to go live here with Google. You know, these people are idiots. Damn Google. Yeah, I mean, how do I do this with my phone? I know how to do it on my computer. Now, come on, YouTube. Yes, that's what I called you, YouTube. Where is the go live on my? Oh, there it is, live.
There you go.
Hold on, that's live.
There we go.
What's it? Oh no, they got you. Now, where is my live? I mean, I see you. Where's mine?
Me? Well, I have you in split screen now. What you can do is you can probably share my feed to your page.
Okay, how do I do that in?
Well, I don't know how to do that shit while we going live.
Hold on 1 second. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out. I know how to do it from the computer. Let me see if I can do Skype from my phone, and see if I can do so I can put this on StreamYard, because you know what, we need to share this. Thank you so much. You know, I've been putting our shared videos on my webpage.
Yeah.
My what's this thing called? YouTube, and it's been working. Now let me see if I can reach you. Well,
shouts out to everybody in the chat room.
Let me see if I can call you.
Well, no, you're not gonna be able to come. You're not gonna be able to get me. I don't think through here.
You don't think so? I probably can.
Because I can only go through one channel at a time.
Well, it says he's online. Hold on.
Yeah. It won't do.
There's much to try. I'm gonna play with this. I just want to see, why is this doing this? I should be able. Do you know they've changed the stuff to make it less friendly to people?
Of course.
Because it used to be. It used to be right up, and they've moved this around all.
You go ahead and get that. I'm gonna keep talking to the people while you're doing that.
No, I'm just looking at this. Account settings, your data.
So, people, back to what we were saying with Dr. Short, while he works out his Skype, we're gonna get what are y'all saying here in the chat room? Wayne loves cock in the chat room. You still hurt Because of that little jokey joke I said about you earlier. You should be used to jokes like that. You got talked about like that every day in school. Hell, your own grandfather talked about you like that because you wasn't shit. So don't get mad at me, alright? 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 Who else we have in the chat room? Lola Day said, Dr. Rashid Butter said the COVID vaccine will kill more people in lower income communities. Of course the COVID vaccine is made to kill us. Hey, look, since when they want to give niggas anything? They only want to give niggas flu shots and COVID vaccines. So that should tell you right there what the fuck is in them two goddamn things right there. They look, if a headache was worth $10, niggas would never have any kind of ills and pains in their life. They don't want to give us shit. The fact that they want to give us a COVID vaccine and they're making it easy, I ain't taking that shit. I am not taking no fucking COVID vaccine. No.
And you know what? I'm gonna do this through StreamYard.
Okay.
And
who else we got? You right? They want to sterilize black folks. That's what that is. We let me see. Somebody in chat room said this means that person was. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. You said about person. There is no one solution, people. That was a. I saw the comment you made about the solution. I'm not here to criticize that comment. I'm not here to criticize it at all. But I think when we look for one person to have one solution, that's where we go wrong. Because there is no one solution to our problems, and there is no one leader. We have to get out that leader shit. It's an ideology. The ideology is the leader. And when people take on an ideology as a leader, they then find other people with that ideology. Law of attraction is real. People go, water meets its own level. If you keep running around dusty, bummy, sorry motherfuckers who only hate and want to rob liquor stores, that's probably the vibration that you're still on. Elevate from that. You be the change that you want out of life. And when you change and do the shit in life that you said you want a leader to do, you're going to find other people with the same ideology, and y'all gonna fix some shit, and y'all gonna make some shit happen. But as long as you sit around and want to criticize other people and talk about what other people are doing and what other people are not be doing, and say you should have said this and you should have said that, you ain't gonna do nothing but breed confusion. That's a little bit of the game I have to say about that. It ain't gonna be no leader. Ain't gonna be no leader. Cause the minute, and on top of that, the minute we get a leader, all they're gonna do is whack them.
well, but we would let them whack them.
And we will let them.
It's sold out by the boule.
The boule would be a part of that shit, wouldn't they, Dr. Short?
Yes, they would. They did Dr. King. They destroyed everybody. Booker T. Washington. There's never been any black notable figure that has not been destroyed by the boule. The boule helps kill off our leaders.
The boule helps kill off our leaders. Y'all heard it from Dr. Short. And that's
Sure
true.
they do. Sure they do. Sure they do. And they're doing it right now. I'm almost there to do this thing with you. 1 second. I just want to say hi to you, and I want to introduce you while I'm talking to my god brother, who's right there in Los Angeles. His name is Reverend Godfrey Patterson. He's a black nationalist minister. He's one of the founders of the Final Call newspaper. He's one of the leaders of the Free Black Political Prisoners movement of the 1970s. And he's right there in Los Angeles. And he's an AME pastor. You can't go to his church, but if you look him up at G.R. Patterson on YouTube, you'll find him. That's an angry... Folk want to go to a church where a black man ain't a coon, who ain't a sissy, don't want to rape kids, don't want money. He want to make black folk mad so they'll stand up. He got an empty church full of coon haters who used to eating all the little navel oranges and shit out in California. He needs some people that want to raise hell. His crime is everywhere he goes, he tries to help people out. So he's been punished by the AME Church. They used to have his ass out in Wichita to like break him down. Then they sent him to Then they sent him up to Sacramento to break him down. They've done everything except send his ass to Alaska. Stop talking black. Just make money. Just bring in the assessment. Don't speak up to the little butch first mothers in the church. Just get money. I mean, and it says, you crazy. We're paying you $200,000. How dare you go out and help people in the community? People have, and this is the Boule runs the church. People who really want to help, their hands are tied. They're deliberately making black people helpless, and they're people trying to help. Their hands have been tied by the very people, like niggas run after these stars and celebrities, high-profile coon preachers and first ladies, and the people who truly want to serve our community. If you're a teacher, I'm going to tell you, they won't let you teach. You'll be run out of the school by the same people. You're not allowed. There is a group of black folks killing the rest of us. In Clearview, we refuse to acknowledge it because they are black. And as a result, between the crackers and the Boule, we're not going to make it. You know,
that's a good point. That's a good point you raised right there, because oftentimes, especially my young black people, I want to shout out to my young black people listening. I do get a lot of young adults that listen to this program, and we do get confused. Even the older adults, we get confused as to why and how black people can be in the situation that we're in right now, and how we can keep falling for the trick bag and these things. We don't tend to know that the reason why the white supremacist generally stays one step ahead of us is because it's not that they're that smart. It's that they have help by us, and it generally it's the people that we love and trust the most. Usually, it's the ones we see with the highest, most prominent positions. We don't know are actually working for them. As Nene Fuller calls it, controlled opposition.
Mm-hmm.
The Boule has been controlled opposition and playing a part in undermining our black society basically since they've been around. That's really the only reason why they were created. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about when it comes to black frats and stuff like that. When it comes to this shit, that's why I don't even take black frats serious, because we ain't dealing with white fraternities. You're dealing with the Skull and Bones Society. You're dealing with people who really go around and move and shake in this motherfucking world. Right. When you're dealing with these black frats, you basically dealing with school days and doing the butt videos. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. And they're not doing women's butt either. So
men doing each other's men's butts.
Yeah, that's more or less the case. Okay, what's your show drink? I need to get a drink too.
I'm over here I'm drinking wine tonight. I'm drinking some red wine. I'm drinking some Cabernet Sauvignon right here.
Okay, and this is the little. I just wanted you to. Can you see this book here? Because we're going to start our reading group either Sunday or Monday. I'm going to just start reading.
I have you on the solo camera. Yeah, go ahead. I see you right here.
Manifesto. And this is something that Kamala Harris and all of them believe in. And this is a little radical pork chop lesbian feminist. This is like their Bible. And I should read some of this shit to y'all to understand why all these hippo-sized sisters have been doing the earthquake slide in the street over Joe Biden. You're too fat for it not to be an earthquake. Let me tell you something. I was on the phone with a friend of mine who ran a congressional race in Virginia. And these people are not conceding the races. They're going to demand investigations. Let me just say this to all of the pork chop feminist assholes out there. And that's a whole lot of ass, too. I mean, that's AZZ, not ASS. I have an ass. You have an ass. All of you folks with asses that have been dancing for Biden need to understand something. Let me say this to you, and I want you to hear this. Black Lives Matter does not have IRS tax status to collect money for political activities. I repeat this. Black Lives Matter does not have tax exempt status. Hi everybody on my feed. God bless y'all. They don't have it. Why am I saying this to you? Even if Donald Trump were to lose this election, and he won't, all the people that got money from Vote Blue that was laundered through Black Lives Matter, none of this money that people gave thinking that it would go to black people went to black people. It went to white, gay, and Latino candidates in the Democratic Party under Vote Blue.
For further information, go back earlier on this channel. I did a whole breakdown on that about back in March. So if you guys want to know some details on where the money from Vote Blue goes, go back. I did a full broadcast on that. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, if you are a candidate, Democratic, let's say you were those chunky town sisters with the fat behind who thinks no man can tell you, I know how to put oil in my car, and instead of putting, some Valvoline, they're putting Crisco. It's oil, nigga. I mean, you can look at it, right? And then they put some Crisco, and then when their car don't work, the man that sold it to me, he looked weak. It's like, it can't be you put the wrong ass oil in. It had to be a man did something, Reminds me of white women screaming rape. We have a similar type of bullshit that runs. Let me tell you something. Bloated, blabby face, rude, pork chop feminists. Justice is here. Y'all have never been held accountable because white supremacy isn't after black women as much as it is after black men. And as a black man, I don't want it to be after you more than me. But if they've knocked me down and knocked black men down, and we can't get up to shield your asses from white supremacy, even though y'all think that's cool because you want to knock down patriarchy, means getting rid of the defensive line that men provide for women, then you've opened the gates of hell for white supremacy to kick your ass like it kicks a black man's ass. And most of you, God bless Harriet Tubman getting hit upside the head with steel bars. That's why she had a clue. They beat her ass like she was a dude. I've had some sisters that have really been hurt like a man. They're the ones that you can just connect to. It's not like you're talking to, a person from Mars and shit when you say something to them about police brutality. Well, maybe you shouldn't sag. Maybe you should go to school. I had professors and stuff, women say this to you, and you're in grad school at Harvard. What the hell am I doing? I've got on business clothes. I'm in the best school in the country. Why are they talking to me like I'm a carjacker? No black men are shit. I get it. No. That used to be how it would go. But now, the more and more sisters, as they make you the face of black people, as they've erased black men, then the target on you has radically expanded. They've made Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, the vice presidential advisor, little lesbian Haitian broad. They've put all of these black women as the face of Biden's wave. And Biden stole this election. When the people, white, strike back, they're going to want to hurt black women to prove a point. They won't even want black men. We always screw you. We want to mess over someone different. Okay? And by the way, the white supremacists who've been trying to start a war with black people have discovered no matter how many black men you kill, it doesn't register any real outrage. So don't be surprised if they don't say, hey, let's bump off Stacey Abrams. Let's hurt a black woman. That'll really get to them. Since black women run the black community, let's hurt them. I don't want this, but I understand how a supremacist thinks. So now, and they've done this, the media has said there'll be no protection for the women out there. If they start getting killed, it'll take forever for it to get in the news. Because you know what? The little lesbo dykes and gay men who use black women aren't ever interested when black women get killed. If you've ever noticed that, it's really hard to get them to pay attention to what hurts black women. And but you know what? They'll have all the little lesbo dykes with you pork chop feminists screaming, "Say her name," as if black men control the news media. Don't talk about black women that get killed. Y'all can keep playing, but black men, your game is busted. Let me tell you something. When they start, the Justice Department has sent prosecutors, federal, all over the country. The loudmouth black women in Detroit that were talking about destroying ballots, if you've seen Afro Synergy, the same way that they locked up all those professional, loudmouth, obese, I don't need no man, sorority bitches in Atlanta over the school thing in 2018, they're going to round up black, corrupt female activists. And trust me, they'll be able to go back and look at previous races that these sisters helped to steal. And yes, you sisters, the same way you lie on niggas and get them put away to jail for stuff they didn't do, and then the guy comes back and blows a woman and her kid away, and folks say, why did he kill a woman like that? And I'm against murder, I'm against him killing a woman, I'm against him killing a baby, but you sent an innocent black man to jail because you got some money from the cops to destroy someone. That guy comes out of jail and says, I'm gonna kill the bitch that did this to me. We haven't had this conversation, black men and black women. When you lie on black men and you send a man to a hell like a prison, and you thought it won't come back to you, in Chicago, they're killing women every other day who lied and snitched on someone. They are. I think it's horrible. I think it's horrible, but it's happening. You get a dude to sell drugs, you snitch him out, you have a good time shopping and shit, getting your nails done. You've got a kid with another drug dealer, and his ass gets an early release, and the last thing you see is this gun pointing in your face. Boom. Is it murder? Yes. Is murder wrong? Yes. But wasn't it wrong to give false testimony and put this man away? Or the girls I've seen who are pusher bitches, who basically pressure nigga to sell dope so they can have the kind of life that they want, and he takes all the risk and all. Oh yes.
Or the one that's more popular, and Ice Cube been talking about this since his America's Most Wanted album in 1989, and that's when you get the chick who working with some dudes. She get a dude to take him back to the hotel. And that's why young dudes watching, never go back to a woman's hotel. Never go back to her house. If you the man, you get the hotel, you go back to your place. Because one thing that they do is, if you go back to their house, you go back to their hotel, they have a nigga waiting in the closet for your motherfucking ass. And the minute your drawers get around your ankles, somebody gonna come busting out that closet with a shotgun, robbing you of all your shit. That's some very popular stuff, and that's something that no one ever wants to talk about, the consequences. What happens in return to these people, to these women who set men up in this situation that's very, very, very common.
It's very common. We don't talk about it. Ladies, the day of not being accountable is over. You have now captured the attention of the white media. Let me explain something to you. When black men captured the attention of the white media in the middle to late 60s, initially they celebrated black men and then they destroyed them. Black women, they're focusing attention on you to punish you. They punish black men. They do it whenever they want to, but to me, two for the price of one. So I want to say this to you. They're going to lock up a lot of black women election officials. You sisters are going to snitch each other out and you're going to go to jail. And black women are going to become the face of electoral fraud when you guys are just bit players in it. That is the thing that's so crazy. The people who own the voting software, the people that own all this, the Pelosi's and the others, they're going to get a pass, and the public's going to demand a human sacrifice. and it will be bloated, fat, blabby-faced black women Democrats. You know, the ones that wag their head that are always right, the black man's always wrong, and when they go to court and they've got fuck 50 men and they pick the man that they dislike the most, who's most responsible, and they mess his credit up and get his card taken. The days of that are waning to an end.
Cardi B giving motherfuckers drugs and getting away with it.
The day of this is over, and now it's judgment. Judgment is here. I've been holding up this book, and we're going to be doing our Black Men's discussion. I'm going to read from some of this. This is called the Scum Manifesto. Scum stands for the Society of Cutting Up Men. I repeat, the Society for Cutting Up Men. This is the kind of book that they have at Harvard and Princeton, and young girls read all this stuff about how bad men are.
And go back. I encourage people listening to go back and watch my last episode with Dr. Randy Short. He read a passage out of this book when he was on the last time. So I encourage y'all to go ahead and watch that episode too, because Dr. Randy Short.
And get a copy.
And get a copy.
And this isn't, I didn't make it. No man has nothing to do. This is what they teach in women's studies. I would think if they're teaching anything in women's studies, they'd be teaching women how to go into technology, entrepreneurship, self-defense. But to just teach that there's no God, or that woman is a god and a man is nothing, and that's academic, that's healthy. If a woman reads this for 4 years in college, what kind of, no man would be able to be with her if he accepts her ideas. He can't. He can fuck her, but he could never be a husband.
I want your thoughts, because, like I said, the people. Go back and watch the last episode if you want to hear Dr. Short Randy Short read the passages out of that, and get the book for yourself, because as he does,
cheap.
He wants you to read the shit for yourself. I want you to talk, Dr. I want you to talk with Dr. Randy Short about how embarrassing this past week has been between cats like Rollover Martin and Van Jones. The plantation celebration these niggas have been having over Joe Biden. I want you to talk about that, and I also want you to get into will Joe Biden be the person getting sworn in January?
Let me just deal with that. Joe Biden will not be sworn in January. Understand that.
Okay.
It's never going to happen. That's a coon, plantation, sellout, pork chop, feminist, toxic pimp, wet dream. That's never going to happen. Okay? It won't happen. Let me make this very plain. If you saw what happened in Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania ruled that the Secretary of State had no right to change the rules for voting 2 days before the election. So that means about 3-4 days of voter stuff where Trump was ahead 400,000 votes. They kept adding stuff in. That stuff's going to have to go. We know that 21,000 dead people voted in Pennsylvania. We know that. We know that another 25,000 people had votes harvested of people who were sick and incapacitated. Okay, that's 46,000 votes right there. You know, Trump isn't that far behind Biden. You take 46,000 away. There's another study that says that they took 220,000 votes away from Trump. You had 220 plus 46,000, right? The number begins to grow more and more of what actually happened. Okay, North Carolina declares today. It's after midnight here. Friday the 13th, Trump is going to get North Carolina. Georgia is doing a hand count, right?
Yes.
Arizona, it's kind of shaky out there, but he can get that. Wisconsin, they stole votes. But let's do Michigan. Michigan, they added 140,000 votes illegally 3 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of November. The system stole, according to Dr. Shiva out of Massachusetts, 69,000 additional votes from Trump. 12,000 dead people voted for Michigan. That's without a complete count. So let's just do that. Trump is behind by 150,000, and there you have it. 12,000 people dead voted for Biden. 140,000 people all voted for Biden at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's 152,000. If you take that 152,000 away from Biden, Trump is ahead, and we haven't even done a full investigation of the magnitude of the corruption. They haven't even started in the city of Detroit.
I want to make something clear to people, because this. I mean, I'm gonna have you continue the short. Let me draw a clear distinction for the people. People kept saying, "Oh," because I keep saying people saying, "Oh, it's impossible to have voter fraud, voter fraud." This is what the media is doing. They keep taking and saying voter fraud. Look, voter fraud. The people aren't the ones doing the fraud. What we're having here, what we're suspecting allegedly, is election fraud. Election fraud and voter fraud are two different things. The voter could have damn near had with the best intent put in what they put, didn't cheat, didn't do anything. The voter ain't got no control over what happens after they put that ballot in that slot or mailed it off. Election fraud is when the people in control of the election, the people in control of counting the numbers, do fraudulent things. That's why the media keeps saying there's no voter fraud, there's no voter fraud. Because there is no voter fraud. People, ain't nobody that interested in, well, not enough people, very few people are interested in enough voting to go filling out 20, 30, 40 ballots. People ain't really filling out 200 ballots. Voter fraud is very rare. Election fraud, on the other hand, when you're dealing with voting machines that have, and this is on record, that have been hacked by 15-year-olds within 15 minutes. We've heard Judge Joe Brown, he said it on this very show, about the Diebold machines, how you can stand right out. They've been knowing about these Diebold machines being fraudulent since 2000.
20 years.
And during the Bush-Gore election, and they still got those motherfucking machines out there. So know that there's a difference between voter fraud and election fraud. And notice your media is going to keep you fixed on voter fraud, voter fraud, voter fraud. That way you never think about what kind of election fraud can go on behind closed doors when we're not paying attention.
And this is the Aretha Franklin of the lesbian movement. Yep. And yep, this is the white Aretha Franklin. Oh, okay. I mean, they literally have their own icons, and I have a little butch-ass cousin. You've heard of Sweet Honey in the Rock, haven't you?
Yeah.
They all okay. Well, from what my understanding is, the founder of it is my mother's second cousin, which means she's my third cousin. Damn. I told you I have a lot of gay folk in the family. I'm just being honest. I don't hate them, but I don't like their sexatics or cuntatics. There's a woman named Jill Nelson that called what black men do dickatics. And so in order to be equal, because I believe in equality, I came up with the word cuntatics. And so we need to deal with folks and be cunt-litical. So if I'm cunt-litical, it's because I'm trying to reach out to you. Now, look, in Michigan, they stole votes. In Wisconsin, they stole votes. They stole votes in Georgia. They're finding them. Like 1,000 Trump votes in a dumpster. I mean, look, so they're going to do a hand count in Georgia. I believe if you look at the map, there's a map that CNN has. Everywhere that Trump wins almost every part of America except for urban areas. But these are Democratic-controlled areas that are notorious for electoral fraud. Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Newark, okay, Atlanta. Oh yes, they do. They have this kind of fraud, and this is sort of now Trump has the mandate to go and bust up every Democratic machine in the country. Now back to Vote Blue. For the short time that I worked on a congressional campaign for about 6 months of 2019, I had to file the Federal Election Commission report. Those reports are very, very clear. If you don't tell the truth on it, your ass can be destroyed even 10 years later. They will still come and get you later. You can't get out of it. That's how they get everybody. And I'll tell you something. This is why I don't respect the congressional black Caucasians. They're not even a circus, because you get something out of watching that. The congressional black Caucasians. If people all over the country at every election had investigations of people around electoral fraud, a lot of black folks would win if they were honest. Now, what am I saying? Black Lives Matter functions as a laundering outfit for the Democratic Party. They had no legal tax right to do this. Meaning, my friends, Biden got money from Vote Blue. If Trump wanted to really be a hard ass, if any money from any Black Lives Matter chapter in Tennessee that didn't have tax exempt status, or Virginia that didn't have the proper tax status, that would mean that certain people have to go. What are you calling me for? Why are you calling me? You're calling me, Dwan. Why?
I'm not calling you.
Yeah. It just said you called me at 111. Okay. All right. They're playing with your phone. All right.
They probably playing my phone. My phone right here.
No, it just rang me. It's 111 my time, and I'm thinking,
wow.
what are you calling me for? I'm looking right at you. Okay, so they're messing with your phone.
They fucking with my phone.
People don't think that little people like us talking to each other, blows people's damn minds. I mean, little teeny tiny me, broke at home with my mother in her 70s. My God, if I had what Rollover Martin did with my little broom closet, and I wouldn't be wearing tight ass pants and shit around frats. So they're afraid of what we're doing. Look, if they got money from Vote Blue, it's an illegal contribution. They need to repay that money. And I'm telling you, if it's millions of dollars that certain racists got, they have to give all that money back to Vote Blue.
Act Blue.
And I'm sorry, Act Blue. Yeah. They need to give it back to Act Blue. And if they don't, the government will go after them. In fact, the government may go after them even if they give the money back to Act Blue. That's how vicious these campaign finance laws are. At the same time, they've got to go after Black Lives Matter for soliciting money for a political campaign when they didn't have the tax exempt or the tax status under the IRS to get political contributions, meaning they have the right now to round up all the people in Black Lives Matter in every state, shut all those punk, fag, sissy, sellout, coon-ass niggas down, which would make my day. I'm telling you. Now, I would be out in the street dancing like a fan.
Before you go further, for those watching on the website, on the screen right now, you have Act Blue's website. Act Blue is the company, that's the people, that's the corporation that takes the money for Black Lives Matter. Like I said before, I did a full broadcast on them. Look back earlier in this channel. But as you see on the website, secure.actblue.com, you see here this raising ticker, raised online since 2004. You see all these billions of dollars that they raise. Basically, what they do, right to get it says Democratic donors have saved their payment information with Act Blue arrested. So you see the website here on screen right now. Dr. Mandy Short's not bullshitting you. You can pull this up yourself. These are the people, when you go to Black Lives Matter website, it says all donations go to Act Blue. This is Act Blue. And what they do is basically take their money. They basically make their money off black plight, like white folks been doing forever.
Yeah, off of black pain and suffering. So if you thought it was going to the victims or the families or doing something about police, no, it all goes to white people. They basically sharecropped and pimped out. So Black Lives Matter is illegal in its activities. That was a question someone asked me, to collect money for a political cause but yet not have the tax status to collect funds for soliciting for a political group or organization. You
Well,
must have that. If they have 501c3 status, that isn't acceptable to raise money for a political campaign. You can't engage in politics and have a 501c3 thing. Even though people do it, it's illegal. All they have to do is decide to come after you. And by the way, even the little churches and all that tell people how to vote don't raise money like Black Lives Matter has. They can shut down all of the Act Blue. All those folks need to have their money given back to them, because most people didn't know that they were giving money to a group that did not have the right to collect money. On top of that,
before you go even a little further, look, let me just show the people, look, let's go even a little deeper to those who are super skeptical, don't want to do your own research. I am on Black Lives Matter website, and if you look here on the screen, I can't get it. Look, you see what's in the web bar here. If you go to blacklivesmatter.com, it literally goes to secure.actblue.com/donate/MS-BLM homepage 2019. This is the Black Lives Matter homepage. And look right here where it says contribution rules. It says this contribution is made from my own funds. Then it says, look, Act Blue Charities is a registered charitable organization formed to democratize charitable giving. I'm on the Black Lives Matter website, and what I did, I'm on screen with you guys. Y'all see when I'm on the website, y'all see where my cursor is going. I have the screen shared to where you see where my cursor is clicking. You see at the top of the page where it says blacklivesmatter.com. Y'all see that? And y'all see what I did. I scrolled down. I clicked on donate. And then when I clicked on donate, I came to this page. And it says Act Blue Charities. Let's cross-reference that with the secure.actblue.com. And you see here where Act Blue is taking money in the name of black people. So, I when I talk to Dr. Short, I don't like to cut him off. But I wanted to make sure I showed this shit to y'all because people don't like to do their own research. For those who don't like here you are. Now go ahead and listen.
They believe everything they hear from the white people on television, no matter how much they lie. And they pick and choose. Niggas cherry pick. When the police blame a victim of a police shooting, they disagree with the police. I'm sorry, with the media. But then when they talk about politics, they agree with everything they say. It's stupid. Either they lie a lot or they don't lie at all. Why do they have to be always truthful? Who's always truthful anyway? If people were paid to lie to control you, why would they tell you the truth? So look, Black Lives Matter. I just finished talking to a friend of mine who's a congressional candidate, and they tried to steal a seat from him, and he runs in and out of the White House. If he gets with Judge Joe Brown and some other people, and I hope he does, we only need to destroy one person's congressional race for all the other butthurt people that are Republicans that lost to go after other people with this Act Blue. And it'll be a big crescendo of destruction. And I just want to say this to you, that Black Lives Matter wrote that letter to Joe Biden saying that they wanted to get something. They're not going to give them a goddamn thing. They won't get anything. That's like a woman having a baby by a sports star and waiting for him to marry another woman to try to get child support. It's really dumb. And by the way, it was done like some dumbass black women came up with this idea. Wait for him to get in. Let him get in and then we ask him. That's stupid. That's stupid. Even a hoe negotiates what they're going to get. I'm going to get a little bit of coke and I'm going to get this. I mean, you're going to get a few hand jobs and I'll let you pinch. But even people in the sex industry with no education was smarter than the leadership of Black Lives Matter or the Congressional Black Caucus. I have more respect for folks on the street turning tricks than I do for our black political class and our boule people that are degenerate Like, did you see I think we saw the picture of Roland Martin opening up his behind,
Yeah, we
playing
talked about it
like
last
he's been
time.
hit
Yeah, with his
by
ass
the
all out.
by the white. Yeah, that so Roland Martin and all these people, they're not doing nothing for us. They're never gonna do anything for us. So, but I want to say to you that a lot of black folks are going to go to jail. They're going to be professional black women. Good luck to getting your nails and your weave done in prison. Good luck to that. Um, I can't wait because these are kind of sisters that are emotional. You can't talk to them. You can't share information. There's virtually nothing that you can't say to me bad about Donald Trump. If it's true, I won't agree with you on. If you say this or that, I'll say this is true, this is true, this is true. Come on, we talk all the time, Dwan.
Yep.
And I agree. But when we try to talk about Kamala Biden, it's that same I'm always right. Girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. Boys are, snails and puppy dog tails. This kind of bullshit that's been running in our community is dead. It's over. And yes, I'm doing what I can. We're in the midst of a civil war, an anti-feminist movement among black men. And it's not going to go back in. It doesn't care. And a whole lot of ladies are going to have to grow up. I've listened to this my entire life and basically took it.
Yeah.
50 years worth. And I'm thinking, damn, it keeps getting worse. It's time to push back. I should have been doing this 20 years ago. So I'm doing it now. We're going to fight and smash feminism. The Democratic Party is destroying the black race with the help of either compromised, weak-ass, boule, idiot, boomer, Negro males, or pork chop feminist traded sluts. And we are no longer going along with this. Trump is going to win. Electoral fraud has been found, will be exposed. People will go to jail. President Trump is vindictive. He will go after the people who's humiliated him, threatened his family, and done this. There will be punishment. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. I can't wait. We should have. I like to see folks dance their asses out in the street for our own political party, for our own banks, for our own institutions, for something that we share, that we own and we control. If you're happy about Biden, that's cool. But all the dancing in the street, you didn't see white people dancing in the street.
Nope.
And he's white, and he's going to take care of them. He's going to fuck us, and we're dancing. And what that put in people's mind is black people are so stupid. A man named Joe Biden responsible for putting 5 million or more black people in jail. You dance for him. You know what they'd say? They'll dance if I put 10 million in jail. And I don't give a fuck. Go to hell, stupid ass broads, if y'all don't get it. And I don't care if you don't understand how I think. Okay? And yeah, I'll marry a white bitch before I bow down to pork chop feminism. And I don't even want a white woman. I'm just saying that. I'll get a white hoe first. Just to show a pork chop feminist, I will never, ever submit to pork chop feminism. Never. I don't even necessarily want to be with a white woman. But if I got one and it was resisting pork chop feminism, I wouldn't care what anyone said. I hope that made some folks mad. In fact, if getting with the white woman was a way to traumatize pork chop feminists, maybe I could do it just out of the shock value. I don't know if I want to be with them. I would say this. I'm going to just tell you a true story. The one white female that I dated, and we're just friends, it made certain sisters so mad, I loved it. I said, damn, I should do this more. Same sisters that wouldn't look at you, wouldn't even speak to you, would cut you if you spoke to them, yelling, screaming, right? They saw you with the white woman, break down crying. And says, I found out how handsome I was with the reaction that they had when I was with the white lady.
It's funny you say that because it's like I was talking to my wife about this. It was like Kamala Harris is with her husband who looked like a college football coach.
Come on, say her name like it's got some nut in it.
Kamala. These same pork chop feminists who will call a black man, and I can say I don't like white women. I ain't never had a white woman. They smell like mayonnaise. I don't fuck with them.
I didn't say I was into it. I just said it was fun.
No, I'm saying no. I agree with that. I like trolling, so I'm not again. I'm never above trolling. I'm never above trolling. I'm never above that. And this is no disrespect to white women. I know some cool ass white women, but they just ain't my style of date. But I
Yeah,
do notice
I like
this:
black women
these
better.
same pork chop feminists who will have major issue with a black man dating a white woman, when they see Kamala Harris dating somebody who looked like an off-duty Santa Claus, it's an old go girl. You got yourself a zaddy. These Olivia Pope wannabe ass women are saluting the white woman, the black woman who date the somebody who looked like he used to rape his slaves 10 generations ago, and they celebrate that shit. And then, but they'll be the same ones that talk about black men who did outside their race. If you're gonna be,
Exactly.
look, ladies, men see this shit. Ladies, I'm talking because look, first of all, most black men don't date white women. We still date home. So for the 85% of black men who still stay
Hold on.
home, ladies,
But
we watching y'all be
30%,
hypocritical. Stop being hypocritical if you want us to listen.
30% of the marriages that black women are involved in now, 1/3 are to white men. Black men have never done anything. So I don't listen. I don't give a damn about what any pork chop feminist says. Fuck y'all. Honestly, I just don't care what any pork chop feminist says. In fact, I live my life in such a way to spite pork chop feminists. And that's what I'm saying. Hang out with my German friend who says, I'm never going to marry anyone that isn't black. But, you know, they were good company, a nice person. And when I saw how upset certain sisters got, I said, this is great. Because, you know, if I'm walking by myself, if I just speak, I'm not trying to grope anybody and they act like they don't see you. But man, when they saw you with a white female, and we just work together. I mean, I'm not trying to like pick up no. I'm not after anybody. I mean, I like my own folks. In fact, I'm a melanin hoe. I tend to like women really black. Like, you know, they look like they came out, you know, a tar pit in La Brea, right, out in California. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I. If you really want to know what gets to me, the Lupita, the really black, shiny type. So I mean, I want a real.
You want the ones that could blend in with my background, huh? Just all you see is their eyes and teeth.
Yeah, that's very sexy. Just the eyes. I mean, now that it's a turn on to me. If you want to know what I like, that's how hardcore it is for me. I really like black. Not even light skin, okay, but if it really jet black, that's me. That's
I got a
what
question,
I like.
Dr. Short, because how do you think between now and how do you think this is going to turn out as far as Trump and Biden? Because here's, and I'm setting this up, and I'm gonna get your full answer. I want to get this out and point this in a direction. When it comes to this election, we know that there are plenty of trapdoors Trump has to stay in office. One, we have the election fraud. That's one. That's one way. Another way we have is we see he has the courts. One strategy is to lose locally and then get it into the federal courts because he has federal judges in the Supreme Court stacked in his favor. That's another way. Another way is declare national emergency and basically a law that Obama signed to, if there's a national emergency, he can be president as long as he wants. That's just three of many options Trump has
And,
to stay in office.
because we
How do
left
you
out
see
the
this shit
state,
playing off?
what I see happening is as many people coming forward. Remember, this is the first, really, with the holiday, damn, on Tuesday, and a lot of stuff was closed on Monday because of Tuesday. Really, Wednesday was the first business day of this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, today we know North Carolina is going to go to Trump. That's going to bump up some numbers. We also know that federal prosecutors have gone to every single solitary place in the country to investigate and do it aggressively. They steal elections all the time. They already know this. And we know it's serious because the mainstream media won't mention not one. See, there's no instance of electoral fraud anywhere in the country. However, if you read the Epoch Times, a very good newspaper, it's out there. They've stolen this election. There was a question. People said that the software, the Dominion software that was used in Georgia, wasn't safe and it was prone to hacking. And they chose to use it anyway. Un- Understand, on top of that, if they have marked these ballots with watermarks where they can prove whether these were stolen or not, you've got a problem. In the case of Wisconsin, where you have more voters than people registered to vote, I mean,
I heard
this.
about that. More voters. I don't want that point to go unnoticed.
But
More
don't
voters than
lose
were
my
registered to
thought.
vote.
You throw my thought off. Forgive me. Not only are there more voters in many instances where there were people registered, they have the black voter turnout rate in this country in many areas greater than 2008.
Hell nah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but it's crazy because you had a greater number of black people voting for Trump than any Republican in 60 years. And then you got the black turnout higher than for any Democrat ever.
Both can't be true at the same time.
No, they can't be true at the same. Somebody's got to understand this. Meaning, somebody lied. In St. Louis, they stole votes down in Missouri, although Missouri is a Republican state. They stole votes, other votes in Wisconsin, 10,000 dead people and so forth. In the county that Milwaukee is in, where 30% of black men voted for Trump in 2016. So they rigged it. So 90% of the voters voted in Milwaukee. Really. Remember,
Wow.
the media kept saying that there was a super record number of voters all over the country.
Yeah.
They built us up on a lie that there was so many people voting, and it's not true. To make it seem as if all these people came to vote against Trump, it isn't true. So look, let's do this. Trump is going to get Pennsylvania. Trump is going to get North Carolina. Trump is likely to get Georgia. Trump is likely to get Michigan, and Trump is likely to get Wisconsin once they go in and start investigating this stuff. Now, what you have to understand is even if the elections become so messy, then the electors are picked by the state legislatures. Wisconsin's legislature is Republican. Arizona's legislature is Republican. Pennsylvania's legislature is Republican. Georgia's legislation is legislature.
And they
Republican.
pick the electorates.
Okay. So he's gonna get. Trump is sort of like a baller nigga with a whole bunch of crystal money and drugs. Someone's gonna get in bed with him. He's gonna get his. Okay. There's just no. I don't know why people. Look, when the head of the CIA, State Department, but the CIA dude who's used to stealing elections all over the world, tells you that there's going to be a smooth transition, it means that the spooks are with Trump.
Well, say that one more time.
When the big time spook, CIA guy Pompeo, who's now the he's the Secretary of State. When he says it's going to be a smooth transition into the second Trump administration.
Oh, into this.
If you didn't hear that out there, that's the news. Pompeo said it. When the spooks are saying Trump has it, the spooks have everybody's dirt. Who's on dope, who's a queen, who's a trans, whose kids are getting high, who's cheating on their wife. When they start blackmailing and coming down on people, a whole lot of folks are going to start that and the other. On top of that, Trump hasn't even gone on Twitter to say that Nancy Pelosi's husband owns the software, or Feinstein owns, the Democrats, the Clintons own or do business with these people. This is fraud. It's clear that Joe Biden's son is being blackmailed by the Chinese and possibly by the Ukrainians. They've got all kinds of sex stuff. They even have sex stuff supposedly on Obama and Joe Biden Sr. When I say to you, my friends, that I was helping to organize a protest to expose blacks being murdered by the police and blacks being lynched by white death squads in Delaware, and not one news media outlet, no one would touch it, to show you that Biden is being airbrushed. You're not even allowed to know who he is. Most people don't know that Delaware is number 3 in the nation for the increase and people dying from disease by distress. That means drug overdoses, alcoholism, obesity. This is Delaware. Delaware is hell on earth for black people. And no one will mention it. No one, not a fucking soul is talking about Delaware. In fact, it's a possibility. Let me share with you. The day before yesterday, I was looking at the vote that was for Trump and Biden in Delaware. And initially, Biden had basically 300,000 votes. And Trump had just under 200,000 votes. Delaware has a population of 975,000 people. You mean to tell me out of 975,000 people, 500,000 people voted? Really?
Hell no. United States has.
Let me just say this to you guys. You can go to Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia and look up Joe Biden Sr. And you'll find the greatest number of votes that he ever got in his own home state of Delaware is 165,000 is his peak. You mean he got 135,000 votes more than what he normally gets? No. Why? What has he done recently to make more people do this? He didn't. In fact, the number of votes that Donald Trump got, which is like 200,000, hold on, it was 199,000 some change. Then when I checked a few hours later, they had reduced the number of votes in Delaware from Biden to Trump, where Biden lost 4,000 votes and 4,000 votes suddenly went over to Trump. And I'm thinking, all right, I thought you called the state. Y'all, so when did Trump just get 4,000 votes and Biden lost them? 99% of the votes are counted. Now, what I want to tell you, they've sent prosecutors everywhere. I bet you that the number of people who voted for Joe Biden in Delaware is more like the number that he's typically gotten, which is somewhere between 100,000 and 165,000 people. If Donald Trump truly got 200,000 votes, then he even won Delaware. Real talk. He may have even won Joe Biden's home state. To show you how unpopular Joe Biden is, that's 3 votes that you can give to Trump. Once they begin looking, in fact, the greatest increase in votes for Donald Trump in New York State was in South Bronx, meaning that there were surges of votes for Trump in black and Afro-Latino areas that they can't, it doesn't make, somebody's going to have to look at this stuff. Now, let me just do this for all of y'all. I want you to understand this. I used to play with the maps back in 2008 and in 2012. If you got about 44%, 45% of the white vote, 95%, 92% or more of the black vote, 70% of the Latino vote, and about 70 or 50% of the other vote, you would win the election. This is what Obama did twice. Donald Trump won 58% of the white male vote, 55% of the white female vote, 22% of the black vote, 35% of the Latino vote, and he lost. Are y'all fucking kidding me? How does Biden lose the majority of the white vote and not get at least 90% of the black vote and win? It's not possible. It never happened.
This shit sinks to high heavens, man.
I've been working on campaigns since 1980. 40 years. And I'm trying to say to you, I've understood for years a Republican that gets 10% or more of the black vote on a national level will typically destroy a Democratic candidate if they don't get a huge number of white votes. Now, let's do this real fast. Gore did not get 90% of the black vote, and he lost. Bill Clinton, because he had Perot run twice, he was able to win with about 88% of the black vote. Jimmy Carter got like high 80s. But typically you need 90%, just about that, to win. 88 to 95% of the black vote. Biden got 80% or less of the black vote. There's no way he won.
No way. See, that's the thing. Like,
There's
that's
no
the
way.
thing.
There's no,
when
and
people
there's
like
no
you
way.
and I,
And he got a record amount of Latino support too, and Asian
Trump,
support, which means that Trump has won with a landslide that some newspapers and other countries are reporting. Trump got 80 million votes, 80. They're saying that Biden got 77. These people are saying that Trump got 3 million more votes than Biden. But what I want to say to you is, if Trump just got 10% of the 7 million votes that they're not giving him, just 10%. If they dropped it, if they sprinkled a little of that in North Carolina, a little bit of this in Arizona, a little bit in Nevada, just they put a few thousand, that's 700,000. We won't even give him the million. He would win an electoral college victory in excess of 300 electoral college votes. Even with just, if he allowed them to steal 6.3 million votes from him and he just took it, but he got 10%. That's enough for Pennsylvania. That's enough for Michigan. That's enough for Wisconsin. This is why they did such a sloppy, white privileged elite job. You know, I'm white, I say so. The problem is you're dealing with another white person, you stupid asshole. It wasn't a black person you're beating down, where everything is stacked in your favor, where you're right no matter what. They're going up against a white person named Trump, who doesn't play by those rules. Trump is like a white street nigga. That's why they can't deal with him. He likes talking bad. You know, when you go to the white school and just tell you, and everyone just is nice and everything's laid back, and no, you know, so if your booger hang out your nose, oh well, you're looking nice today. Trump would say, "Damn, it looks like you got an asteroid hanging out of your nose." Trump is like a black person. He just says what the hell comes to mind, even if it's wrong, if it's raw. They can't deal with this white nigger. I'm not saying I like everything Trump does. I'm just saying that Trump is raw, like Mike Tyson and all the people he likes hanging with, these rappers. He's unpolished and rough.
yeah, and that's the thing. Trump, the way I've always seen Trump, for those listening, you listening to Hotepish, Intelligent Ish Talk. We have Dr. Randy Short here in the building. Earlier we had lawyer Jaaye Person Lynn. If you didn't catch the broadcast earlier, go back and watch the replay. We had Los Angeles lawyer Jaaye Person Lynn, who's going through this battle with the legal system out here. Find out how you can help find out his story. Right now we're here talking to Dr. Randy Short about things that have gone on in the past election that we have concerns about, and possible ways that Donald Trump could stay in office because of all the things that's been going on with this election.
I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take this country back. Hey, Sleepy Joe, you had some stupid ass fucks trying to steal this thing. I'm going to get my shit back. I like living in the White House. Look, Trump's not going to go. But I'm going to tell you something else. I'm watching these Senate races. I got to talk about it. That nigga that looks like Mahalia Jackson on chemo, Jaime Harrison, he does look like Mahalia Jackson, y'all. He looks like Mahalia Jackson had chemotherapy and survived, right? He lost. They stole, up in Michigan, they stole a Senate seat from this black dude. I hope he keeps fighting. His name is James. The Republicans wanted to put this black Republican senator in Michigan. He's not a bad guy named James. They have tried to steal it. That's right. The so-called friends of black people, the friends of black people, Democrats, they love us so much. They don't do shit for us. Kill babies and lock us up in jail and tell our kids to be trans and want to have them cut off their titties and all that stuff, right? They didn't want this black guy to win. I think he's going to win. Number two, they've got two Democrats. Both of them are jerks. His one guy's name is Asofsky, and I call him Jackovsky, and the other's name is Warnut, and I call him Warnuts or Warlock. And the black dude, I mean, they both are promising. And Georgia, these two Senate seats, these are two dudes who are completely for the fagged out pedo agenda. So if you want little boys to have to learn how to grease up their assholes to get fucked, vote for the Democrats in Georgia. You know, it's amazing that we have to choose between a racist politician or a sub-out coon or punk queer person that wants to fuck our kids. That's how bad. But this is what. And by the way, this nigga War Nuts.
I'm putting the picture of Jaime Harrison up. Right. I'm putting a picture of Jaime Harrison next to Mahalia Jackson up.
Yeah. What we're gonna sing? That is why I can sing. That is why I can shout.
That's our great.
I know what it's for.
Mahalia Jackson.
The sweet
on screen. And that's Jaime Harrison.
Show enough your God.
Yeah. That's.
Come on, children, let's shout. Come, the Lord is mine.
Here's a better picture of him.
There's none like him without a doubt.
Yeah, they do kind of look alike. Yeah.
He does look like Mahalia Jackson.
Yeah, he does. Dr. Sure, and this is no. I hate to say this, but I love Mahalia Jackson. But yeah, homie do look like he look like if Mahalia Jackson had on one of them church wigs. Yeah, they kind of they look alike.
Yes, seriously looks like Mahalia, and probably in more ways than one. Anyway,
they probably like the same dude.
Those chump niggas down in Georgia, Asofsky, who's Jewish, and the black dude Warnuts, who's the pastor of Dr. King's church. Now we know that the dream was wet. Okay. And this dude's a drum major for Freak. It said for peace. I mean, Warnuts and Asofsky or Jackovsky, they've all supported. They promised to co-sponsor the Gay Equality Act, which would legalize pedophilia and make dick sucking and getting screwed in the behind a protected class like being black. This is why they're behind this black dude. And there's nothing in it for us. Again, it's always illegals, butt fucking kids, killing babies. Never anything that we need. Folks are always going to kill babies. There's always going to be some trifling woman. I don't want this. They be like punching their belly like they are sparring with Muhammad Ali. There are always going to be folks that kill babies. Yes, abortion's murder, baby killers. All y'all go to hell. Y'all kill babies. That's why a lot of sisters have fucked up attitudes. Y'all have killed babies. You're murderesses. You need to repent before God. You killed that life inside of you. It was wrong. You're just as much a killer as a nigga on death row. I said it. You don't like me? Stop talking to me. Abortion's murder.
So yeah,
abortion will always be murder.
Dr. Short.
If I run a stoplight and hit you, a pregnant woman, in a car, and the baby dies, I can get charged for involuntary manslaughter. If I'm a killer by accident, and you went in and took your ass up in there to have your thing dilated, you a killer too.
Hey.
I ain't sorry. I don't want to be your pastor. I don't want to be on your college staff and have to run around and say, well, it's not life. If the shit wasn't life, if it wasn't life, right?
Yep. You're right
then
about that.
You wouldn't need to kill it. Okay.
Yep.
Real talk hoes.
Hey, and so so it's a lot. Y'all hear us? It's a lot of stuff going on. What we're basically trying to say to you guys listening now is, look, the media is never going to tell you all the things that are on the table. They're being purposely deceptive because the guy that they want is now in office. We have to, like Dr. Short earlier talked about other outside. You have to get familiar with media outside of the United States, not based here, because the majority of the media work that's based here is going to be in lockstep with whatever agenda that the liberals have to push. And so we have to know that, and we have to be smart, and we have to have our own spirit of discernment and discern what's good information and what's not. Dr. Short, I'm about to have to get out of here in a little bit. Tell them however you want to end this. It's on you. Say whatever you have to say. Take as much time as you need.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, pardon my selfish self-promotion, but as I try to build my channel and I work with Brother Dwan here, I want to direct everybody that can to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Randy Short. Randy Short on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm DRS1, D as in dog, R as in Randy, S as in short, 11965. I'm DRS1 1965 on Twitter. If you want to bless the independent voice out of DC, I am on Cash App, which is DR Randy Short, DRRANDYSHORT.
Y'all see it above his face. I have it typed in above his head. Y'all see it.
Y'all want to chat with me, mix it up, perhaps do an interview or whatever, my direct email, which is the same as my PayPal, is wrandyshort@gmail. I am on Instagram, which is Randy Short 1965. I'm on Patreon, Dr. Randy Short 1965. And so be in touch with me. Let's share. Brother Dwan, thank you. I'm working. In fact, I'm promoting your stuff on my page. So please put your Cash App on. So if anybody like you, bless you when I put it on my page. I just want to encourage people to be very careful, stay away from protest. I'm warning people. I had a very bad dream about white supremacists targeting black women to be murdered, to make an example, to express their rage about what's happened with the elections.
Talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't want one person to get hurt. I may say what I have to say about killing babies and being assholes and not knowing how to cook and being fat, but you matter. You're my sisters, even though you don't act like a sister. I had a very bad dream 2 years ago. It shocked me. I woke up. You have to understand, many of my friends, one of which who died this year, Reverend C.T. Vivian, I did know John Lewis, but you have issues with John. But my mentor, my auntie, was Medgar Evers' assistant in Jackson, Mississippi, when he was killed. A lot of the people I know are people who went through large numbers of people being killed or tortured or beaten. And so I had a dream that freaked me out. I didn't say anything to anybody because it was too horrible to describe a group of white men following a group of sorority bitches, and they just smoked up a car full of black women and buried them. And they got away with it, and they began killing black women in remote places. They had crews that would track women through their Facebook or whatever and hunt them down. And eventually it culminated with a group of black folks at a beach having an argument with some rednecks and them getting mowed down with AR-15s. And I woke up from this dream, and I just trying to figure out, what the hell does this mean? Why would folks want to kill black women? Why were the people in the dream white, saying that they had killed lots of black men, but that didn't get black people's attention? They want this holy racial war, then they will kill black women. And it didn't. I forgot about it until I saw these black women with their big bloated asses dancing in front of the cameras and shit. And I'm thinking, do they not understand what's going on in the country, that these people are armed to the teeth for a war, and they're cowards? It would be easier to attack our women or girls or people in remote areas than to try to fight folks in the city where they're armed. And we have a lot of black women now that are in these groups that like going out in the woods and camping, proving that they don't need a man. And I mean, and trust me, a penis is better than a sex toy. Y'all know that too. That's why most of you are bisexual. Yeah, I said it. Okay. These black women that are so independent, you got these black lesbian biker groups, and they go around and think that the folk won't hurt them. I'll tell anybody, I got gay folk in the family. I don't want to see people get hurt. I didn't want to see my cousins die from AIDS. No, I didn't. If I could change everything and make it different, I would have. Okay, I can't. I'm not God. I'm a person. Sisters, you are being targeted. Brothers, if you can persuade them, unless they're too hard headed and mule headed and prideful and they can't listen, okay. But sisters, you're going to be targeted. You can protect yourself by being careful. The nice guy smiling at you could be a supremacist. I have seen white men with neo-Nazi tattoos on, with black women grinning at them, and said, wow, these sisters don't even know when they have all those crosses and stuff on it saying kill black.
88.
And so there are a whole lot of black women who are out here who, and for them, being with the white man is like a religion, like it's a revelation to be with a white gentleman. And I'm not saying, look, if I showed you pictures of my family was a high yellow family, I'm glad I'm black. I'm glad my father's dark skinned. I never wanted to be like a tawdry colored black person. And even the people in my family that were light skinned always married dark because they didn't, there was some kind of embarrassment about being light skinned. So I'm not against people being with who they want to, but a lot of black women don't understand that these people are willing to do things like lure a black woman into a relationship and kill them. There was a situation up in Joliet, Illinois, where these Nazis had their girlfriends lure some stupid ass black men that will do anything for pussy. And these dudes thought they were going to smoke weed and play video games and have sex with white women. And the white boys were there waiting, killed the black men, and then had sex on top of their bodies with their girlfriends in Joliet, Illinois. And a lot of black folks think sex is a great equalizer. If it were, all the mixed people like me would be running this country. It's a lie. So you can swirl at your own expense. You can pretend that people like me are living in the 50s or 60s. I was born in the 60s, and things aren't better. Okay. In many ways, they're worse. Y'all need to wake up, black ladies. And maybe for all the years that they've told you that being a black woman means you're in a separate race from black men, that's not true. On Black Wall Street, they killed black women like they killed black men. And East St. Louis, when they did genocide, they burnt up black women with their babies. In Knoxville, when they massacred blacks and drowned in the river, you haven't heard about that. They killed black women with their babies. In Chicago, when they burnt up black neighborhoods, they burnt black women alive with their babies. They didn't say, oh, you're a black woman, we like you, y'all are fine, we just want to kill the black men. This is very stupid. There is no intersectionality with a Nazi or a Klan or supremacists. And you're the dumbest ass women in the world in terms of not being on code with your men. And I'm not talking about the rotten ass black men. We will always denounce them. I also need the black women that stand up to start denouncing the swirling, sellout, pork chop, feminist bitches in our community. Only when there's a new consciousness, when the new black women stand up, our Harriet Tubmans that are living and alive today that have that spirit, to start making black women get their asses back in formation. And if you watch a nature film, the animal out of formation gets eaten by the cheetahs and the lions. Okay, I said what I had to say. I know I've offended people because, black man who's not begging for pussy is the enemy of the state. They always need, baby, I just need it. Any black man is just talking how he feels. How dare him speak? Jesus, does he know what I've got? I hope you do have what I think you have, because if you have a penis, you're a freak. I'm still not going to beg you. I'm going to always say what is so. Brothers, protect your sisters. Sisters, protect each other. And by the way, in my dream, when they did finally wake up, all the Boule people wanted all the black folks that they had betrayed, that they never stood up for, to be as outraged about their deaths as the deaths that have happened over the past 40 years, where the Boule has had a stranglehold and a vice-like grip on black leadership, has done a goddamn thing. Wake up. And sisters, I do too love you. But I don't love treason. I don't like sellout men. I don't like sellout women. I don't like coons. None of them. And trust me, any sister that's serious about black people, I'll lock arms with you. Even if you're big, I'll get you some diet pills. So we're all together, right? All right, let me get up off of here. Good night. God bless you. And come on, y'all. We can do this. I will be doing more. I'm thinking, we're going to do this book thing and Coon Buster. And Brother Dwan, we're shaking up the country, man. They did something to my computer yesterday, so it means someone didn't like what I was doing. And so isn't that amazing? And little teeny tiny people. If you can't watch me or watch Brother Dwan, watch Afro Synergy. Watch Professor Black Truth. Watch Black Authority.
Watch Tariq.
Tariq Nasheed. Watch the people they're telling. There are people telling the truth out here. Reverend Gaither up in New York. There are people telling the truth.
Brother Ron, watch them.
Brother Ron Hurd. We all be
TV.
Yes, absolutely. There are people telling.
Watch Nicole's View. On Sunday I'll be on Nicole's View. Watch Sister Nicole.
Nicole's View, right? And if you're in the Los Angeles area, G.R. Patterson on YouTube, look him up. He's a black preacher. I mean, this is a gun-toting, ain't taking no shit preacher. Dwan, you should look him up. He said give him a call. If you interviewed him, he's so crazy to tell you about all the punk-ass preachers.
I definitely want to interview him. Any here in L.A.?
He's in L.A.
When we get offline, I want to get his number because I definitely do want to talk to him.
Yeah, he's the angriest black preacher you'll meet. He can't stand certain people. He'll just start going in on folks. And people need to understand, I told people my mouth is dirty, but my heart is clean. I love black people, but damn, black folk make you angry. And to me, I just start cussing. I don't cuss all the time, but when we're talking to each other, we have to get this out, but we have to come together. We have to unite. We got to do something, and we need to do it fast. And I want to say to all the people, Biden has refused to do anything for Black Lives Matter. They burnt up the whole country for his ass. He's not even offering them a condom or some lube after all the stuff they've done. That's going to let you know. And Kamala, first thing she did was put that little carpet munching Haitian as her number one person.
And bring in 500,000 Indians with 95,000 a year to follow.
They're gonna fuck us up. And I'm just saying to you, I have been doing work with the Indian community for the last 25 years. Some of them are wonderful. Some of them are beautiful people, but some of them hate black people's guts worse than Africans, white people, anybody. You just don't know how bad this shit is. They will just kill, burn, destroy, poison. If you start looking, go online and investigate a lot of the people who've been setting up black people with fake conviction evidence. They've been a lot of Indians who've been forging information to put thousands of black people in jail in Massachusetts, Illinois, all over. A lot of these Indians that work for these cities steal the money, work for the HBCUs.
They doing all that. So there is no coalition, folks.
High level stealing. I'm not saying I hate nobody. I'm just saying, as I said, I love some Indian folk. If I were rich right now, a significant piece of my money would go to be helping folks who are Dalit or the untouchables because they've been through what we're going through.
They've been through all that shit, man. For those out there listening, Dr. Randy Short is giving you the word. He's giving you the message. He's telling you what it is. If you have any questions about anything he said, guess what? You have an internet too, right? And
Look
when it comes, and that's why I'm glad, like I said, we had to talk with Dr. Short today, because there is more to the story. There are trapdoors and tricks, and there's more going on with the election. So I encourage everybody out there to listen and to do their own research. If you have any questions, we will be back to you guys pretty soon.
And can I tell you something?
Say one last thing.
They do research. When a brother's curious about what a woman has under her skirt, he looks up her dress. He doesn't ask her about it. He goes and looks for that, even with kids. Now, why is it that we don't do this with information?
And show that book one more time.
Oh yeah, the Scum Manifesto. Who would be down for a Sunday where we take
So we can't see it.
where? What can you see it?
Yeah, we see it now. Back it up some.
Okay,
There it is,
it's
right there,
Scum
right there. That's it.
Manifesto. Okay. I want to do some readings from this and some other feminist literature because most black men and women that didn't go to these elite fucked up schools have no idea what the boule feminists and others what drives them. Once you hear this stuff, you'll realize that some of the Martin Luther Kings and Ida B. Wells and Sojourner Truth and all are you. It's
Yep.
never going to come from a lot of these boule people that went to HBCUs or to white schools. You guys, once you realize that these people think they're smarter than you because they've read this piece of shit, you need to become the new leaders. So I'm here
Get the book.
violating code.
Scum
refusing-
Manifesto. Scum Manifesto.
Scum
Get the book.
Manifesto. The Scum Manifesto. Look, I want people to understand that I'm breaking code. I'm supposed to be off in an elite school teaching white kids or whole, and I refuse to do it. And shoot, I could use the money, but I didn't like it because I would get in trouble in school. I would talk about this, and people come and say, "Well, you can't talk to them about this." So I'm breaking code. I'm going to share
breaking
with
code,
you
people.
at Harvard and Yale that this is the kind of garbage Berkeley that they're teaching, and this is why a lot of sisters have fucked up brains.
And so
They've been
y'all
listening.
seen it right there. Dr. Randy Short, Scum Manifesto. They love you in the chat room, Dr. Short. We're gonna have him on again next week. Check me on for those listening. On Saturday, we're gonna have Dr. Bendel here. She's a founder and CEO of Blacknificent Knife, and she's an educator connecting black people with the ancestry and culture. Y'all are not going to want to miss Saturday. And then this coming Sunday, I'll be on Nicole's View at her Facebook, at her YouTube channel to your page. And I want you all to remember this.
Everybody listening, someone asked me this question about Aboriginal ancestry. I'm going to get Sister Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah, we had her on here before. We got to have her on again.
She can do this. I
Yeah.
have to do it, but it's 2 a.m.
We're going to talk about some
We
ancestral.
can do that soon.
I'm way down for having this discussion.
Yes.
So
Anybody
We're going to talk about the Aboriginal history later on.
thing that I'd be down for it.
I want you guys to know
But I'm
this.
open.
Remember this.
Oh.
And I'm about to talk to Dr. Short. I'm about to sign off, and we're going to get back to it.
Oh, I gotta tell you one more, brother.
Natural Hair Magazine. I put my first article in.
Natural
Hair
Natural Hair Magazine. Yeah, they dope. I follow them on Instagram. Natural Hair Magazine. Shouts out to
I just
y'all.
put my first article, Born to be Shorn.
That's what's up. Shouts out to Natural Hair Magazine. And remember this. Get your t-shirts. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. By Dr. John Henry Clark. Get that t-shirt.
Right.
Get your scholars t-shirt. Y'all see my Hotepish t-shirt. We got them in all kinds of colors, blue. All through. We got every color except for pastel. Remember this, folks. We are about to sign up out of here, and remember this. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up game. Email me at info@breakthroughas.org for relationship coaching. Email me hotepish@gmail.com for potential show ideas, questions, and things like that. Remember that, and we will be back to you on Saturday and then again next week. We out.